Hey everybody. Hey, welcome to Kiki Loves Nigeria. It has been so long. I know, I know. It's been a long time, but when I got back from Gambia, like I got back that week, and as soon as I got back, I had to go back to work. I had to go to training. And right after that, you know, school started. So I've been just like really, really, really busy. And last weekend, I wanted to do the live. I completely forgot about this birthday party I was supposed to go to. So I just could not get out of the birthday party. So I'm like, okay, I got to get this live done so we can move on and go back to talking about, our other stuff. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. And it's good to see you guys. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I've been so super, super duper busy, but I'm never too busy for the repack community. So, look, today we're going to talk about something that I discovered when I was in the Gambia. I'm pulling up my notes so I don't miss anything, okay? As you all know, well, some of you may not know, but I just got back from the Gambia, probably less than a month. Oh, look, y'all, Rick is on here. Looky, looky. I knew it. I knew you guys were going to show up in full force tonight because I know you miss me. You haven't seen me in so long. I'm good, Rick. How are you? Thank you for staying up to watch the show tonight. So, as I was saying, when I was in the Gambia, well, let me back up. Every time I go to Africa, my goal is to discover something new about myself, okay? Which is challenging in itself to want to discover something new about yourself. And Africa will always do that for you. It'll always give you that favor. It'll always give you something new about yourself. So, to do that, I knew I had to put myself in a very challenging situation because I had been to Africa 12 times. Well, 11 times. This was my 12th time. So I had to have something different, completely different than what I was used to. So I decided to go to the Gambia during the rainy season. So according to the Repats who live in the Gambia, Black Acres and, the other ones, and I'm not talking about the arrival and who else am I not talking about? Our journey toward Eden, those people. I'm not talking about them too. But all those other people we see on YouTube, it's too many to mention all of those people. Okay. So all of those people, they make it seem like, okay, it's some water, it's some rough roads. It's a little difficulty, but it's nothing. It's nothing. So me, I'm thinking, oh, I've been to Africa so many times. I've been to Nigeria, and it's all during the rainy season. Because of my job, only time I can really travel and stay for 30 days or more is in the summertime, which is always the rainy season. So ever since I've been going to Africa, it has been during the rainy season. In Cameroon, it was during the rainy season, and every year in Nigeria, it was during the rainy season. So nothing, the rainy season is nothing to me. I'm like, rainy season, that's nothing. It's nothing. Rainy season, oh, I've been so many times. I can handle the rainy season. No big deal, right? So I don't realize how wrong I am. So remember, my goal was to challenge myself, all right? So I'm thinking, well, let me go to the Gambia during the height of the rainy season because I went last year, during the rainy season from June to July. That was the beginning of the rainy season. So we had a couple of heavy storms. It was nothing. It was what I was used to. So I'm like, okay, how much different comes from July to August could be? That's what I'm telling you. To go to Africa, you have to always be humble. You can never go there thinking you know everything, or this is just nothing and I've done this before and this is no big deal. Mm-mm. No, no. Africa does not work like that. Not at all. Yeah, somebody at my door. I think it's my sister, but I'm gonna let my niece get the door. So Africa doesn't work like that. So that was the first thing I had to be humbled about, is me thinking, oh, I've been there so many times during the rainy season. This is nothing. So they wanted to show me exactly what nothing was. Oh, they showed me what nothing was. Okay, so I go in July. I leave here July 11th. Yeah, July 11th. And I arrive there July the 12th. All right, so let me look at, no, I'm gonna keep going before I lose my train of thought. Okay. So, okay, bye. I love you. Have fun. So I arrived there July the 12th, right? Getting there, I'm not going to go into that now. We're going to talk about that when I talk about the things they don't want us to know. So just going through that whole 21 days in the rainy season in the Gambia, I learned so much about myself and so much about these people in the Gambia that I had to come back and tell you guys, like I always do, the truth. The truth about what's going on over there. And what's going on over there is really sad. People are really suffering. American people are suffering. Gambian people are suffering. During the rainy season in Gambia, it's nothing like I've ever seen before in my life. And why these people don't tell us the truth about this, I don't know. I don't know. I was sitting there trying to figure that out. It's very dangerous, for one, to even be over there during that time of year. Very, extremely dangerous. I don't care how healthy you are. I don't care how young you are. If you're not from there, you're not ready for those potholes that are just in the middle of the street and just come out of nowhere. And you're just walking like you walk in the United States. You're not really looking down at every hole, every step you take. You're not doing that because you're not used to doing that. And if you say you do that, you're lying. You don't. You have to consciously tell yourself to do that. And if you don't do that, guess what? You're going to twist your ankle or you're going to break your ankle, especially during the rain season, because not only is it wet and muddy, it's slick. You know how clay is slick? Because that's like red clay. That is not dirt. I've seen red dirt. Cameroon has red dirt. This is not dirt. This is not dirt. This is clay. Okay, so I was not ready for what I went through when I went there, because I'm listening like you all are to these people who live in the Gambia, these Americans, and I'm thinking, oh, they're telling us the truth. Because what is the benefit for them to lie to us about how difficult it is in the rainy season in the Gambia? What would they benefit from that? You know, that's what I didn't understand. Why would somebody lie about this benefit? Why would you lie about this? Why wouldn't you warn other Americans about this? Because I don't know about UK people, because I've never been to the UK. So I don't know about them. But I do know about Americans. And what I know about us is that any American, even our poorest American, would find it difficult to function under those circumstances. And I am not lying. And for them to get on here and act like it's all good, like Black Acres say every day, all day, is a flat out lie. It is a flat out lie. Look how they look. Do they look like they're having a great time? Do they look like it's all good? People, look at them. This man, Rick from Black Acres, is on here pretending to be Malik Shabazz. If it's all good, why are you on my channel at 10 o'clock laying next to Cynthia pretending to be Malik Shabazz? when it's clear who you are. I went through your channel. I know who you are. Your comments reveal to me who you are. Your obsession with me is sick because you didn't think I was going to be able to stand up to your evilness. Your mind is blown because you can't believe that you have not rocked me, you and all your devils. So you're fascinated by me at this point. But go ahead, join the club. Join the club. So as I was saying, these are some sick people. These are some sick people because real people are going to look out for you. They're going to look out for each other and they're going to warn you and they're going to say, hey, it's hot and it's hard over here during rainy season. Don't come over here during the rainy season unless you're the outdoor adventure type. If you want an outdoor adventure where you want to see how you can survive, how you can push yourself to the limits, how you can challenge yourself beyond challenge, then go during the rainy season. But tell us that. Don't make people like me think, oh, I've been to Africa, 13, 11 times during the rainy season. This is nothing. Black Acre says it's all good every day, all day. Them and their friends never ever tell you that they're hot and hungry because, honey, if I was hot and hungry and I was only there for 21 days, you think those people are not hot and hungry and they live there and they go through this on the daily during the rainy season? I don't care how much money you have. You're going through this. You're catching it. And the more money you have, the more you're going to catch it. So that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about why these repats have lied to us and what they don't want us to know. Because they don't want us to know a lot of stuff. Because the stuff I was discovering, nobody told us this stuff. Nobody prepared us for this. They just said, bring some rubber boots. Bring some rubber boots. I brought some rubber boots. Like them yellow boots they wear. I brought some rubber boots. But you think the rubber boots saved me? No. Did the rubber boots stop me from being hungry? No. Did the rubber boots stop the lights from being out for 24 hours? Or what? No, how much was it, y'all? 12 hours? Did it stop that? No. Did all the money, the dollars in my pocket stop that? No. Did the fact that we had all this cash power stop that? No. 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 And even if the house I was living in, this house I lived in didn't have a backup source of power, but the house I lived in last year did have a backup source of power. And guess what, people? When the lights go out, when what they call it, Napa, when it goes out, your refrigerator doesn't work. Even if you have solar. So all that Rick and Cynthia are telling you are lies. Solar is not strong enough to run your house electrically. It's not. Especially your heavy appliances like a refrigerator and an AC, they can't do that. It can't do that. So even when it did go out, we would have maybe dim lights. I think the TV would work, and I think the internet would work. Small appliances will work, but nothing big. Nothing that you really need, like your refrigerator and your AC. And that to heat your water, that's not going to work. So why this isn't told to us, why we're not prepared. So because I'm telling y'all, it's some people who would love to go through what I just went through. They would enjoy that. They would find it an adventure. An adventure. Because that's what it was. It was an adventure. At some point, I literally had to go into survival mode. It wasn't, I was no longer on vacation, in Gambia. I was no longer at this place with all these luxury resorts. I was at a place where I had to realize how I was going to eat every day, what I was going to eat every day, how we were going to get it every day, get the food, get what I needed every day, because you saw the roads and what car could go down there. So after a while, you got to just go on foot. This is the reality, people. This is the reality. Some days that's what it was. You have to just go on foot. And whatever they came back with, that's what I cooked. That's what I cooked. Thank God my grandmother showed me how to survive, how to make something out of nothing, people. Because most of the time, guess what? That's what you would find at the market. That's what you would find at the market. Because remember, how do they get the goods to the market? The roads. If the roads are destroyed, people, how are you getting goods to the market? You're not. And what's there is going to be terribly, terribly expensive. So, and it's not going to be fresh, it's going to taste funny and all that. So let's go through these comments. And then we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the truth. Oh, Lord, he done brought up Crazy Boy. See, that's how y'all know this is Rick. Ain't nobody on Crazy Boy. Hey, Miss Strickland, I missed you too. Oh, thank you. This was a gift from my best friend. He said, I got something for you for your show. And I said, oh, thank you. I'm loving the Gambia rain and all. I love how green everything looks after the fresh rain. Again, I absolutely, I like that part too, until you have to try to move around in it. It's beautiful when you're looking at it, but trying to survive in it, that's a whole different story. That's an entirely different story. An entirely different story. It's beautiful and everything. The sound of the rain. Well, I guess some people, like she likes that sound of that rain. I don't like that sound of that rain. That rain was scary. That rain was scary. Okay. So no, but she likes it. That's what I'm telling you. Some people would like it. So you don't have to lie to us. You don't have to tell us non-truths. Tell us the truth. We're adults. You see, it's an adult who's traveling to Africa. You got to get passports. You got to get shots. You pay an absorbent amount for the ticket. So we're not talking about children here. You can tell us the truth. Some people would love to go through that adventure, and some people would not, like myself. That was torture. That wasn't an adventure to me. That was torture to me. Yeah, and you know what? That's basically what my Gambian friends were saying to me. That misery loves company. That your people are miserable over here. And why they don't tell you all the truth, we don't know. We don't know why they lied to you all about what's going on over here, especially with them. Especially with them. But that's what they told me, pretty much. They told me the story of this bird that I'm going to share with you guys. And it's pretty much the same thing about miserable people. They love company. Oh, my glasses. Oh, shoot, y'all. And I had them out. Blair, oh, my glasses, please. Yeah, that's why they ain't telling on that little table. That's why they're not telling. Right here in front of that, right there, that brown cork looking case, the little brown table in front of the chair. See the mirror, my white mirror? No, it's inside the case right there. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They love company. That's exactly what it is. Listen to this. I just talked to Art, Kathy, and Quasi Boyd about you. Listen to that. You could have never talked to Art Kathy about me, Rick, because Art Kathy doesn't know me. Okay. And I'm glad you talked to Crazy Boyd about me. Talk to him some more about me. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can't see with these eyelashes and my glasses at the same time. One of them gonna have to go because they having a fight right now. Okay, let's see. Uh, no, it's difficult. We're gonna talk about the car situation, but the rain pretty much leaves your cars immobile. All right, that's a big issue with your cars in the rain in the Gambia. And do they tell you that? It's so bad some people don't even drive their cars because of that. Because you're taking a chance of destroying your cars. You're taking a chance of destroying your engine. Because that night we went out, I told y'all what happened to the light. Just all of a sudden, the light just went dim. Water had got all up inside of it. If you want, you just said about Malik Boss being ripped from the Bag family, shameful. And if it is even proven, then he basically just conveyed to you a threat from his wife. He always be threatening me. That's what he come out here to do. But we know what Rusty Dusty do. Let me go up here and see this threat. I must have missed it. We saw Rusty Dusty, y'all, when I was in the Gambia. Remember when we was at the remember when we was at when she saw me at what's that place? Solomon's. And all she did was throw her petty threats. Threats don't scare me, people. That words are nothing to me, okay? Words are nothing to me. You can throw your petty threats all day, every day. All I do is collect them. You just talk to, where's the threat at, y'all? I want to see. Oh, here it go, look. Here it go, y'all. Let me put it up here. Okay, here's what he said. Sweet juicy mama told me to tell you not to come to Solemn. Listen, like we kid. Who's a kid here, y'all? Kids don't go to Gambia 12 times, okay? This is a kid. That's what I'm telling you. This is what they got time to do because they don't have nothing to do over there. It's raining. He hot. He hungry. He can't sleep because he's hot and hungry. You see Cynthia out in that garden, in that is not a garden. I don't know. Them weeds every day, trying to find something to eat, something, because she got to make something out of nothing, like I just told y'all. So that's what she over there doing. He hungry. That's why he on here like this. He hot and he hungry, and it's raining. So he got all kind of insects in his house because I don't even think they got all the windows up. It still don't look like they got all the windows up. So that's what he on here for, y'all. But he want us to think life is good in the Gambia. If life was all good in the Gambia, he would not be on here bothering me. He would not. He would not be on here bothering me at 10 o'clock at night, laying next to his wife. If she was so sweet and juicy, he would be with her. He wouldn't be on here trying to talk to me. That's what I'm telling y'all. And these are the people that people are following. This is sick. These people are mentally ill, in my personal and professional opinion. You know, people who create fake profiles to talk to people, something's wrong with them. And it's obvious who this man is. I went through his profile. It's obvious. And he tells you who he is with his comments. His comments are constantly about him and Cynthia. That moment in Solomon's, because that moment in Solomon's proved to you all who she really was, what that woman was really about. That woman is trash and he is too. Both of them are trash. All they do is sell them big Cynthia Wolf tickets, and that's all they do. Is sell Wolf tickets all day, every day. And don't do nothing. They do nothing but just try to scare you, try to bully you into submission. That's what they've always tried to do. And they're mad at me because their bullying tactics do not and have not ever worked on me. So they're mad. So that's why he's stuck at that one moment. He's stuck at that one moment because he knows that's when they really lost the war against me. Because look how they acted and look how I acted. Look what my response was. I just laughed. I laughed. I completely laughed at those two fools. I could have got up and acted like a fool. I had two choices. Two choices. I could have got up and performed. But I looked around and I saw those European people looking at her and looking at me. And I swear to y'all, it was like all I heard was silence. I heard complete silence. And it was like I saw, you go this way or you go that way. Now make your pick. And I sat there. I sat there and I said nothing. And I laughed and I laughed. But I said, if that woman hit me, I will defend myself. I had a right to defend myself. I have a right to defend myself, but I have no right to go into public and threaten people and try to do what she was trying to do to me, her and her husband. It wasn't just her, it was her and her husband. And while Quasi sat there trying to break it up, he was the one trying to break it up. He was the one trying to calm them down. He was the one trying to be the peacemaker, not Rick and Cynthia, who everybody want to act like they're the gods of the Gambia. They're the devils of the Gambia. And God has shown you over and over and over again. But like the Bible says, like dogs return to their vomit, fools return to their folly. So the fools will constantly return to their folly and chase black acres because they think they're going to be some kind of stars one day. So they want to ride that coattail. That's what it's all about. These people were nobodies in the United States. So they go to YouTube. They got some stimulus money. They got our stimulus money. People gave them their stimulus money. And they built them a house while they lied and told us they were going to build a community. While they told us they were going to build a community to get the money. And once they got the money, what did they build? An old raggedy house that they're so ashamed of that they won't even let us see the end. They won't let you see the inside, even me, because I watch the videos. Even if you watch the videos, you're supporting them. You got a right to see that house. You paid for that house. But they're so ashamed. That's why Rick is on here. Wishing I had time to talk to him. Oh, what's the name of the company? Oh, thank you, Rick. Rick. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But I'm not going to block you because I know I'm your entertainment. So I'm going to let you entertain yourself. So I'm going to get these comments real quick. Then we're going to go on. Okay, I know, right? I don't know what y'all talking about here. I got to go through this real quick. Okay. So, Kiki is a whole vibe. I sure am. I am a whole vibe. You ain't never lied about that. All right, y'all. So look, we're about to run through these comments. And the first thing I noticed in the Gambia, I'm gonna go ahead and start going through the list while we're looking at these comments. Wait a minute. A lot of FBAs who are returning from Africa telling how they were treated by the Africans in different countries. Yes. Yes. And see, I don't know about that part because I didn't deal with Africans like the Gambians like that. That was something that I dealt with the Gambians that I know, that I knew, that were my friends and my family. The outside Gambians, I didn't deal with them that much. And like I said, the encounters that I did have with some of them were not, with those young girls, that was not very good. But I wouldn't know. Because see, one of the rules in Africa is that women don't run around willy-nilly dealing with all type of people. You don't run around willy-nilly talking like Cynthia talks to this man, talk to that man, and she was commenting on how Joe was built all nice and how he looked like he worked out. Remember when she was doing that in the video? Women don't do that in Africa. So I don't socialize like that. I don't do that. I've never done that. I don't talk to people I don't know. I don't just sit down and just, just start interacting with a group of men. I don't do that. So I'm sure they've had experience because for one, I'm sure they've broken some kind of cultural norm in the first place. And when you come at them and you don't know the cultural norms and they know you don't know the cultural norms, they're going to treat you real funny. They're going to treat you real funny. Most of the time, they're not going to give you no respect. That's what happened to Cynthia's best friend, the irrelevant one. They gave her no respect because when they realized she was part of the sex tourism and she was part of the problem, that's why they start treating her like that. No man would take you serious. That's why she went through so many Gambian men. And when she realized none of them want her, what does she do? She takes them all to court. Now, look how many Gambian men she knows. Cynthia, this is Cynthia's bestie. This is her best friend. And you all want to tell me these people are normal? These people are normal? These people are the problems in the Gambia. She said, somebody hurt you. He sounds, what does it say? It says, you sound somebody, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve T. Ain't nobody hurt me, dude. I'm on here having a great time. What about you? You on here watching me, so you must be having a great time too. Ain't nobody hurt me, dude. I don't know what you talking about. You don't either. You don't either. Let's see. The right amount of solar can run appliances. I'm sure of that. Really? Have you been there? Have you done that? Have you tried that? The right amount of solar. But what about the sun? What about sun? The solar needs sun to operate. What about that? When it's the rainy season, you have days where there's clouds everywhere. It rains for days. I did a video where it rained for 48 hours. 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. There was no sun. And if the sun does come out, it'll come out for a little bit, an hour or two, and then it's back to those big clouds. So what about that part? Why don't you mention that part, Mr. Gardner? Why don't you mention that part? Like my grandma always say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Solar, but to run appliances, you need a huge amount of solar. And number two, you got to have the sun all the time. In the Gambia, you have days where you have no sun. I was there, sir. And I lived in a house that had solar and that did not. So I'm not going to come on here and play with y'all. I'm not going to lie to y'all and get y'all set up for failure like these people are trying to do. Why they want to set y'all up for failure and see y'all suffer through hardships, I don't know. Because they done it. And instead of helping you come up, they must have failed and they want to see you fail too. The bird has been watching you every time you come and go. What bird is that? Immigration. That's the only people who watch me when I come and go. Immigration. Immigration and customs. Immigration in the Gambia and immigration in my country. Rick, you know you don't want none of me. You need to quit acting like you do. You know you don't want none of me. You done had some. You know you don't want that. You know you wish you would have shut your mouth and never mentioned my name. But you want to keep playing these games. You sure you want to play these games? Why don't you talk about how it's up and coming country? Because that's not the purpose of this video. I have videos on my channel that's about Gambia being an up and coming country. That's not the topic of this video, son. I'm sorry. This isn't just random where I just talk about whatever. This is a YouTube channel. I'm not Rick and Cynthia. I don't just throw out videos. If you go through my channel, You will see I have really nice videos. I take the time to edit my videos. I take the time to focus the topic of my videos. Okay. These people tuned in to talk tonight to talk about the lies that the repats tell us about the rainy season. Not Gambia being an up and coming country. Try to stay on point, son. Try to stay on point. Try to follow the conversation. Try to follow the conversation. You people are hilarious. I love that you don't remove the crazy comment. You know what they say. This one thing from people to think you are crazy, even more crazy than you. Open your mouth. Right. I said, come on now. Come on. Y'all just are ridiculous. I'm a grown woman. You know, like Cedric, the entertainer, used to say, he got this comedian, this little actor. He say, I'm a grown man, dog. I'm a grown man. You know, I'm a grown woman. Come on. You think words gonna hurt me? Are you serious? You think words are gonna hurt me? I'm grown. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can play those little games with you. FBR, okay, I told that part. Yeah, I believe it. Yes, I believe it. But you got to be careful with who you mess with. It's just like here, but we go to Africa on some whole new crazy stuff, on some whole new crazy stuff. Being colonizers, want to be colonizers. Kiki, you can run a house off a solar house. Power issue. Power issue with them. You need lithium batteries to store solar energy, so those batteries are not cheap. And this would be 20 batteries or $60,000 for a big house. Okay. Okay. I really can't go into too much debate about that, but all I know is that you need sun for that. Oh, you said you can buy the lithium batteries too. Okay. All right. I don't know about the lithium battery ones. I just know about what do I know about the sun ones? The sun ones that you need. I don't know. Does these lithium batteries charge from the sun? Because I think the solar thing comes from the sun. So when there's no sun, there's no power. So I mean, it seems like it doesn't matter how strong the battery is, the source, which is the sun, isn't there in the Gambia all year round like they want you to think. So let's start with that. All right, y'all. So you got to have the sun to have solar energy. And if it's rainy season in the Gambia, you're not going to have that 24/7. You're not. And I told you, I lived in a house and we didn't have it. Now, I'm telling you, we had the solar, but it did not run the heavy appliances. It ran the other stuff, but it didn't run the heavy appliances. The big appliances. Here, look, y'all. My wife was a gang member in Chicago, and you are a lightweight to Cynthia. He just told you. I told y'all it was Rick. I told y'all it was Rick. He just told y'all who he was. Okay, Rick, I got a question. If your wife is such a gang member in Chicago, and I'm just a lightweight from the Midwest, and my back was turned to her, I'm confused. Why was I sitting there laughing? I'm confused, Rick. I'm confused. I'm confused. I don't know people who just, and I don't know in like 50 something gang members. I mean, when you're 50 something years old, aren't those like the OGs? And the OGs don't be out fighting no more. Don't the OGs be like advising the young ones not to fight, not to shoot, and not to get involved in violent behavior? So I'm confused, and I study gangs, as part of when I was in school. So, I mean, it's like a whole hierarchy. And at her age, she ain't out fighting. She got young G's that's supposed to be doing that for her. So I'm confused. Why is she still stuck in 17, them the teenagers, the 20-year-olds, the 50-year-olds ain't nowhere fighting. They back living their life. They living their life. They guiding the youth. They not on my YouTube channel threatening me and telling me what they woulda, shoulda, coulda done. Rick, it's so obvious that your growth was stunted because, see, she had a baby when she was 17 years old, y'all. And that stunted her growth. She didn't mature past that. She never educated herself. He didn't educate himself either because he had kids right away. So he had to go to work right away. You know, he had to support these kids. He had to support these kids. So this is what happens. You get stuck at that moment in time. These two are teenagers. They think we're really in high school. They think this is really high school. They think I go to the high school across the way. And they go to the other high school. And they don't like me because I go to the other high school because I think I'm better than them. So every time they see me, they want to call me names, but they're not going to do nothing but call me names every time they see me. This is high school. Rick, I'm not in high school. I have 2 masters. Two. I've been to Africa 12 times. I'm past I'm past all forms of violence. All forms of violence is the lowest form of communication, Rick. The lowest form of communication. And this is how I know you and Cynthia are at your lowest form. You have not developed at all. Because she had a baby and she kept having babies and she kept having babies and she kept having babies and she did nothing to educate herself. She did nothing to grow herself. She did nothing to make herself a better person. And you did nothing to make yourself a better man because all you did was just pump her full of babies because you thought in your mind having babies is your sign that you're a man. So you filled this woman full of babies. She was the fool that kept having them. And now you have these 2 people who are clearly overgrown adults who come on here regularly on the internet and make threats to me of physical violence, which everybody knows that is a crime. Everybody knows that's a crime. They think because they use these fake names, nobody will know who they are. But the 2 Nigerians, they just arrested them, remember? They just arrested them. It's called an IP address. And even if you use a VPN, they can still find you if they want you. So this shows you how sick these people are. These people are truly sick. So you better play Trump. Don't get elected. They will be out of here. What? Okay. Let's see. Gambia, you are right. The Gambia has no road infrastructure or power grid infrastructure. When it rains, it's mass flooding with, yes, and that's what I'm saying. People are not prepared for that. And these people like Rick don't want you to be prepared because I don't know why. How does he benefit economically? Oh, because maybe if y'all know the truth about the rainy season, y'all won't donate money anymore. I don't think they're getting donations like they used to anyway anymore. They don't even sound right. They don't even sound right. You're lying. Look, I'm lying. How many times have you been to Africa? How many times have you been to the Gambia during the rainy season? Tell me about your experience. I'm lying. You can't just say I'm lying without any evidence. You sound like a child also. Only children do that. That is true, Kiki. They are ratchet hood behavior. Nice to see you too. It is. It's just stupid. And to act like that in front of all them Europeans, and y'all know our reputation. Y'all know African Americans' reputation around the world. Why would you go and fulfill somebody's stereotype about us? Why would you go and do that? That's why I said I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rumble in the jungle with her like I'm some kind of hood rat piece of trash. I'm not doing that. I wish I would do that. I wish I would just rumble in the jungle like that. I'm not doing that. I'm not rolling around. I'm all dressed up. What did she think I was going to do? Roll around on the, well, I mean, come on. Come on. That's what's wrong with our community now. These people have never grown up. They have babies and they stop growing. They don't go to school. Just read the Bible. If you read the Bible, read the Quran, read something spiritual. Study Ifa. Study something. Study African spirituality. Read any type of spiritual book. Study Taoism. Study the Buddha. Study somebody. Study something. Edify your spirit. Grow your soul. You just wasted your life. You and Cynthia wasted your lives. Just having babies, and you taught your babies nothing. You taught them nothing. You didn't even teach them proper English. You didn't even give them proper social skills because you don't have them. And instead of you trying to improve yourself, you come on here at 50-something years old and throw petty threats at me. Acts of violence. Acts of violence. How about we debate? Let's debate. How about that? But I forgot. Like Dr. Clark said, Heinrich Clark said, I only debate my equals. You are nowhere near my equal. You are sad. You are sad. And you done led all these foolish people astray with your little black magic. Because weak-souled people will fall for your little black magic. That's all you can attract is the weak. That's it. The weak and the vulnerable. That's the only people who will be drawn to you. It depends on the person or anyone. Yeah, that's true. It depends on the person. It's like I said, it depends on who you're around. You got to be careful. It's just like here. You can't go doing certain things. But I don't know why when people go to Africa, they want to do certain things. They want to do crazy stuff. They want to just do all kind of stuff they wouldn't even do here. But they in Africa, so I'm going to do it in Africa. What? Why would you go someplace that you don't know anything about? Exactly. Why would you? Why would you go someplace you know absolutely nothing about? But you think this is the stuff you can read in books, sir? So you're one of those people who think you can just type it in on the internet and they're going to tell you the truth? You're one of those people, huh? Who believe everything you read? The books only tell you so much. Books don't tell you nothing anymore. You got to go to the internet. You got to learn to evaluate sources on the internet. Do you know how to evaluate a credible source on the internet, sir? Do you? Do you know a primary source from a secondary source, sir? Because you got to learn all that and know all that to discover the truth. Because people lie. Because lying is to their benefit. Because if I can get you hooked on this, I'm going to go to the Gambia and buy land and follow bag. Who are you going to support? You're going to support old Rusty Dusty Rick and Crusty Dusty Cynthia. You're going to support those people because that's who you believe in, because that's who led you in your mind on your journey. This information about Africa isn't readily available. You obviously haven't researched Africa, because if you did, you would know there's limited information. And if we don't go and look for ourselves and search for ourselves, we're not going to find. And that's the reality of the situation. That's the truth. That is the truth. That is the 100% truth. We can sit up all day, every day. If we don't go out and look for ourselves, we're never going to know what's going on here. Never. Like I wouldn't have known. All the time I've been to Africa, I didn't know all this was going on. Go places, they didn't know about it either. Okay, y'all talking about something else. You know, they didn't tell us this. The books don't tell you this. They just say, oh, when you research the Gambia, oh, this is the rainy season. Oh, and they do, but they do tell you it's not advised that you go to the Gambia during the rainy season. They do tell you that. Yeah, immigration. That's the only people who watching me. He sounds stupid. He sounds stupid. They think my heart beat fear. I'm not them. I'm not a weak person. I'm not a weak person. I am a very strong woman. Very strong woman. I told you my government name literally means the woman who conquers has been reborn. So if you think I'm scared of anything or anybody, oh my God. I couldn't be a servant of God, sir, if I had fear. God and fear don't go together. They just don't. Faith and God go together because I know my God can do anything. But fear, no, no. My heart don't beat fear. I'm sorry, it don't beat fear. If it beat fear, you and Cynthia would have tried to stop me. All the stuff y'all and your irrelevant friends, everything y'all done to me, tried to do to me, because it all has failed. I would have stopped a long time ago. I would have never got started. Well, let's go back to what we was talking about. I'm trying to get y'all comments so I can go to the notes. So we was talking about the solar lithium battery. Okay, that's having enough. Oh, the issue is with the solar having enough lithium battery storage. The batteries are not cheap. It would cost them many thousands for a house their size to pay for batteries. That's their issue, the money. Okay. Okay, again, yeah, I don't know about those lithium batteries. I know just about the solar that I lived in and what the people in the Gambia, most people in the Gambia who have solar don't have that because these are the people who are telling me this. They have solar, okay? So they're telling me because I asked, can the solar, run? Is it wise to just have solar as your energy source? And they were like, not knowing. And they said no. They said no. Because if you don't have that, they said all you're going to depend on is solar. Okay. And then they were telling me like from when the rainy season starts from June, the sun is on and off. July, it's really on and off. August, from July to August, the sun, I think they said all the way down to October, November. The sun isn't steady like that. So that's why you don't see them with just solar as their energy source for their house. You don't. That's why. Yeah, well, that didn't take long. No, yeah, for him to reveal himself. The devil always revealed himself. They don't have a choice. God make them do that. All I have to say to you, Kiki, is that, look, remember in the video when he had his hood on, when he had his black hood on, and he was saying, bag, bag, bag. Whatever, Rusty, Dusty, Rick, I don't care about you in the bag, lady dude. I could care less about you. You in the bag, lady, you are ridiculous, and so is she. But I'm glad you look better. You was looking sick for a minute there. You don't look sick now. I was getting kind of worried about you for real, Rick. I thought you was getting sick, but because look, nothing can happen to you, Rick. Who would I talk about? You got to make sure you take care of yourself, okay? Keep those doctor's appointments. Keep eating all them vegetables, them doggy poop vegetables that Cynthia getting from the garden for you. From what I say, I think they can afford the solar system. They need panels, inverters. Oh, they need a lot. Okay, yeah, they need a lot. Okay, Rick, you read that comment because he's telling you what you need to keep the lights on. Because I know you hungry and hot right about now. That's why you up here talking to me. You ain't got nothing else to do. I know because it's too hot to sleep, honey. I just left there. I know what you're going through. Uh, No, he meant the battery is the storage for the electric. Oh, okay, y'all. Y'all, that's a little over my head, but thank you. Okay, y'all pay attention to what they saying. All right. I don't want to quote it or, I don't want to paraphrase it because I don't quite understand it. I'm just talking about the regular ones. Okay. Uh, hey, places and spaces, how you doing? All right, so let me go see what my first topic was while I'm going through these comments. I can talk because I can do two things at one time. So first, I want to give my disclaimer. I ain't do that yet, and we've been on here for a minute. My disclaimer is, y'all, it is not my intent to stop people from going to Africa. Okay, people think, oh, she's trying to stop people from going to Africa. Why would I do that? Why? Now think about that. Why would I want to stop people from going to Africa? But I go to Africa every year. But I want to stop everybody else from going. Why? Because I want to be the only American on the plane because we sure ain't stopping the Africans from going. So why would I want to stop the Americans from going? That doesn't even make sense. They just sound totally, totally, totally ridiculous. Now, the first thing I noticed that they don't talk to us about, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, y'all, is how difficult it is to get to Africa, to get to the Gambia. That in itself is a big problem. And people, you need to know about this. Because if you got any kind of health issues, if you got any kind of mobility issues, you're going to have troubles. And you're going to have trouble. You're going to have trouble getting around, okay? You're going to have trouble getting around. For one, let's talk about the increased ticket cost, okay? When I started going to Gambia, I went back to my notes. When I started going to Gambia, right, I paid $800 for my ticket. I could not believe it. So, I got a whole bunch of extras because I couldn't believe how cheap the ticket was. But is Malik really rich? Did you say is Malik really rich? Read through the comments and tell me what you think. And go through my community page and look for the comment about Malik and you tell me what you think. You gone, Blair? You gone, sir? Okay. Okay, so when I first started going to the Gambia, it was like $800. It was nothing. The next year I went, it had went up. It was 1,500. So I was like, okay, 1,500. I said that's about what I paid for to go to Nigeria. So I'm like, okay, it's Africa. It is. I'm going through 3 continents. Okay, it's just okay. So I paid it. The next year, y'all, guess how much it was? It was 1,900. But that didn't include all the little extras I have to pay for, like my seat. Like I want a certain type of seat, so I have to pay for that. Okay. If you want different like Wi-Fi on certain flights, you got to pay for that. So that's the first thing I don't hear them talking about is the fees. How much it will cost you to go to the Gambia. That's the first thing. And that is just for your ticket. That's not talking about to stay, your accommodations and your food. We're not talking about that. And your transportation. We're not talking about that. No, we haven't begun to talk about that stuff. So why don't they tell us about that? That's the first thing you got to really understand how much that's going to cost you because it is not cheap. I can sit here and tell you it is not cheap. I just told you how much my ticket cost. It was over $2,000. Over $2,000. It's a round trip ticket, but it was over $2,000. So you're going to start at 2,000 and you're going to go up. Your expense is going to go up. All right. So all this Gambia is so cheap, Gambia is so inexpensive. Where? Maybe when I first started going 3 years ago, but it's not now. It is not now. Gambia is extremely expensive, extremely expensive. And that's because it is a developing country and it's developing rapidly. And foreigners have soaked a lot of money into that country very fast, which has created uneven development. And that's why you see what's going on. That's why you see this massive inflation. That's why everything is going up rapidly. Because to the investor, that's nothing. He has money like that. But to the average person, who's living off their retirement, or to a person who's working, or to a person like Black Acres who begs on YouTube and get maybe 1,500 in a check a month. They can't make it off of that in the Gambia. The Gambia is for rich people now. It is not for poor people. It is not a place you go if you have no money. Gambia is totally changing. It wants to be for upper class people. Upper class people. It is not for the poor. It is not. So all this making people think, oh, you can come there with your little bitty checks and make it. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. If you making it, you barely making it. You barely making it. But they're not telling you that, because that would mess up their story, people. That would mess up their story. The solar technology is way advanced. That's not the issue. It's cost. Oh, it's not cheap to do, and they don't have the money. Oh, for the house. Oh, so he's saying even if, you know, the technology, people will have the technology, Black Acres don't have the money for that type of solar, and they don't. They don't have money at all. I could tell by the way they beg and by the way they live it, pushing water through that way, through all that, pushing that well through all that water, and we supposed to believe that they enjoying that. Rick, you're not enjoying that. Quit lying. I suspect you sure did. He's corny enough to use Malik Shabazz. Yeah, you said it a long time ago. A long time ago, and I just was like, no, please. And then I finally looked, because he kept saying little stuff that only Rick says. You know, people have a way of talking. You know, people have a way of talking that give themselves away, because y'all know it's me by the way I talk. I'll say certain things, so y'all be like, oh yeah, that's Kiki. That's how she talks. Okay, he has a way of talking, so I know it's him when he says certain things. And the comments, he would say certain things, and I would be like, that sounds like Rick. That's something Rick would say. And then I thought about what Places and Spaces said, and he said something else. And then I was like, let me check him out. And then when I went to his channel, the fake Malik Shabazz channel, and you go through the first, when you just look at the channel, no, you're not going to think anything is up. But when you go inside the channel, inside the playlist, then you see, this is Black Acres. This is Rick from Black Acres. Then you see it's him. He should be worried how he's going to get in. Man, did you see that? And that's what I'm saying, y'all. And they want us to believe that I'm hating on that, or we're hating on that. You got to walk through all that. All that. Water. Pushing your stuff through that water. Praying to God your things don't get wet. Praying to God that wheelbarrow don't pull over, spill over. And on top of that, it's hot. Yo, it's hot. And not only is it hot, it's humid. The humidity will be higher than the heat. I kid you not. The heat will be like 96. The humidity will be 100. And you want to tell me I'm jealous? So I'm paying $2,000, over $2,000, and we're not including the accommodations. Remember, we're not talking about the accommodations. We're not talking about the shots I have to get. That my insurance will not pay for, because what's that one? A yellow fever is not in this country. We're not talking about that stuff. We're not talking about all the other stuff you got to get ready to get there. We're not talking about that. Thank God they pay for my malaria medicine, but they used to didn't pay for that. And I had to come up with $300 for that. This place is not cheap. Gambia wants to change who they're attracting. And the way you do that, people, is the dollar. What you charge for admission. Because everybody can't afford it. Everybody cannot afford it. Only a certain type of people can afford to go to the Gambia and can afford to live in the Gambia. Rick and Cynthia, they don't want those type of people there. They know it's just a matter of time before those type of people like Rick and Cynthia are gone. Rick and Cynthia do not have enough money to afford that house, to maintain that house, or even finish building that house. And they know it. They know it. They want them type of people gone because they can use that land and do something else with it. And that's what they're going to do. Either they're going to leave eventually on their own, or the government is going to take that land, because Gambia has a land shortage problem, people. I'm serious. I would not be over in Gambia buying no big plots of land because it has a land shortage problem. And it's going to come for those huge plots of land because it needs them. It needs them. So that's the first thing. That is the first thing. It's how expensive it was to get there this time. It was ridiculous. And then, people, you got to realize what you're going to go through. Getting there is physically demanding. Physically demanding, okay? You got to walk. I don't know how long. When you get to Belgium, I don't know how long you got to walk through your transport airport. But when I went to Chicago, I told you Chicago has this new system now where you get off your plane and you go to your next plane. So I was able to, thank God, I was able to get off, I think at C12, and my next flight was at like C10, which is right next door, which was not bad. But when I got to Belgium, I don't even know how long I walked. I don't even know how far I walked. And I'm thinking to myself, what about people who have mobility problems? What about those people? What about people who have high blood pressure? What about people who are diabetic? What about those people who have medical issues and you're not telling these people any of this? You're not telling them, high blood pressure people, do not, I repeat, do not put your medicine in your carry-on bag. Put it in your personal item. Put it in your purse. If you are a man, put it in your, whatever you carrying on you that is not going to be checked, put that with you at all times. Never check your medicine. Never check your medicine, because you know why? Your flight could be delayed. And guess what? Your medicine is delayed wherever that flight is because you checked your bag. And even if you have it in carry-on, don't put it in carry-on. Put it in the personal item that you keep with you. Because sometimes they make you take those carry-on bags. And you know what happened on my one flight back from Brussels last year? There was a man, and he had to check his bag, his carry-on, because the plane was so packed. The man's plane had been delayed for 2 days. He had no high blood pressure medicine for 2 days. Nothing. He was waiting to get on this plane. You know, he gets on the plane. Do y'all know he has a stroke on the plane? I'm sitting right here. He's sitting up here. This man is having a stroke right in front of my eyes. And I hear his poor wife calling for help. For help. On the airplane. We getting ready to take off. Thank God we hadn't took off. So the plane had to turn around. Paramedics came. Man had a stroke. They asked him how long had he not had his medicine. She said for 2 days because the flight was delayed. He hadn't had medicine for 2 days. I don't know what happened to him, people. I don't know. I pray to God. I think about that man from time to time. I still see that man's face. And I pray to God that man is okay. But you know what I learned from that incident? I keep whatever medicine I have to take. I keep it in my bag that I keep on me. Did they tell you that, people? Do they tell us that, people? No. They don't tell us nothing about our medicine. Nothing. Nothing. Then you got to be used to standing for long lines and long lines for I don't know how long amount of time. Because when you get to the Gambia, and walking downstairs. You got to walk down this plane ramp. It's not like here where you walk down the ramp. You walking downstairs and you're outside. So you got to be healthy. You got to be healthy. You have to be. You got to go to your doctor and tell your doctor what you're about to do. And it's hot going down the ramp. Because as soon as you get off the plane, you're in the Gambia heat. You're in that heat and humidity. So take your fan with you. Have it in your little carry-on. Like I carry my backpack and I have this in there and I pull it out. I pull it out and I fan myself. As soon as I get off, because I know I'm going to start sweating. I know I am. And when you get inside the airport, for some reason, the airport has air, but I don't know why it's always hot like that. Why aren't they telling us this? These are health risk, people. These are health risks. I don't want you to go to Gambia and get sick. I don't want you to go to Gambia and get hurt. I want you to go to Gambia and be healthy. I want you to go to Gambia and come back the way you left. But following Rick and Cynthia and all them other repats over there, you're going to get yourself messed up. You're going to get yourself messed up. And you got to realize these flight delays, you're going to have you're going to be deprived of sleep. You're going to go through sleep deprivation. I told you it took me 24 hours. It was 24 hours of flight delays. I never experienced anything like that in my whole entire 24 hours of flight delays. And I don't even know, the weather. It was the weather. That's what they kept telling us. It was the weather. And then something happened to one of the planes. But guess what? When you're going through these flight delays, people, most of the time, the plane has the seatbelt on, the seatbelt signal. And guess what? You can't move out of your seat. So you're sitting in your seat. And guess what? If you got to use the bathroom, guess what? You're not going to the bathroom, people. You got to sit there and hold it until they tell you you can go. Yes. You think, oh, well, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to get up and go. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because they're going to call the police on you and they're going to have you arrested. So did people tell you this is what you're going to go through? So when you going through the Gambia, you already going to have an attitude before you even get there. Before you even get there. Because along with this sleep deprivation and not being able to go relieve yourself whenever you want to, you're going to have to deal with not having food on top of that. So this time, I packed me a little snack because I learned from the last time. But the food is going to get spoiled after so long because you're going through so many different time zones, so many different continents, so many different countries. You're not refrigerating the food. So you got to throw it out. So at some point, you're going to depend on the airplane food. And that's when you get in trouble because they're going to feed you once, if that. Because of all these turbulence, whenever it's turbulence, the seatbelt is on and they can't read, they can't get up to do anything. So you're not eating because of turbulence. So you're on this plane all this time with nothing to eat. On top of everything. On top of everything. And then these people talk to the poor Africans like I've never seen anything in my life, how they talk to these people. How they talk to these people is totally unacceptable and unbelievable. But it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I can't don't do anything about it. I can speak, and then when I speak, they say, oh, she's one of them. She's an African American. Got to treat her a little nicer because she sure will complain about us, and we don't want that because she'll get on that system and type up a little report about us. So we're not going to treat her like that. But it's until they discover that I'm African American that they are treating me like that. And these are the things you're going through. These are the things you're going through just to get to the Gambia. So by the time you get to the Gambia, you got a whole attitude. You got a whole attitude. Because for one, you're hungry, you're dirty, you're sleep deprived. You've been treated like we was treated in the 1950s, and everybody think it's okay. No, nobody got a problem with it but you. So by the time you get there, this is what you done been through. This is what you done been through. And I'm telling you the truth. So when you touch down, you're gonna have a whole attitude. You're gonna have a whole attitude. And don't let the immigration, no, they ain't the immigration people. I don't know who these people are. They airport workers people. But sometimes they have little European women who are their friends. They'll come get them from the back of the line and move them to the front of the line while you standing there in the line with the mosquitoes everywhere, the heat everywhere. But you, African American, you stay right there. You can wait. You, this European lady, you come right here to the front of the line. And I kid you not. Nobody had a problem with that. Nobody had a problem with that whatsoever. This is the reality of traveling to the Gambia. And that doesn't mean don't travel to the Gambia. That just means know what's going on. Know what you're going to see when you get there. Know what you're going to go through to get there. So you won't have an attitude once you arrive. Because if not, you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad. You're going to be mad before you even get there. I'm telling you, because when I say I had to go through planes, trains, and automobiles to get there, I did. When I say I went through planes, trains, and automobiles and thunderstorms for 24 hours, I did. They had a whole tornado. A whole tornado. While my plane was flying around just like this. Gambia had a whole tornado. The windows in the airport were blown out. In Gambia's airport, where they just done it, they remodeled it. At the top, the windows are glass. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but anyway, they did. They had a tornado while my plane was in the air. But thank God, Mohammed from Brussels Airways could fly that plane. Oh my God. That's the best pilot ever, y'all. I had to write in about him. That's the coolest pilot, the stay calm. You could feel the plane going up like that, like just being lifted up. I kid you not. I kid you not. That's how I knew something was wrong. Because when we left Senegal, the plane was, it only took like 15 minutes. And I would see the plane go to Banjul, and then it would go back out. And it would say 30 minutes. It would say 45 minutes. Then it would say an hour. And I'm like, no, something's wrong. And then that's when he came on. Mohammed came on, the pilot, and told us they were having really bad wind gusts with thunderstorms. He said if it was thunderstorms, he could get through. But he said the wind gusts are too bad, and he can't get through. So he said, we got enough gas because we just filled up the plane. So we're just going to circle until it stops. And that's what we did. Yeah, we went around just like this. My friends told me they could see me. Not me. They could see the plane. The airport people said they was looking up at the sky and they could see the plane just going around like this. In between the storm, they could see the plane. Why don't you tell people this is what you coming into? Because if I had any clue, I was going to a place where they have full-blown tornadoes like that. Y'all, I don't like tornadoes. That's one thing I'm scared of. But thank God, you see how good God is? It was over with before I even landed. Before I even landed, it was over. And they didn't have another one when I was there. Okay, so now he admitted his wife has killed. Did he say that? Oh, God. Did he really say that, y'all? I'm sorry. I'm trying. Y'all see, I got to be the engineer and the host, too, at the same time. So I can't read. Sometimes I miss the comments. But, yeah. Yeah, y'all, this is what I had. This is what you're going to go through to get there. You may not go through the tornado. You may not go through the glass shattering at the airport, but everything else I named, you bet your bottom dollar you're going to go through that. You're going to go through everything I just told you about. So you better prepare your mind. Just prepare your mind, okay? If you want to go during the rainy season to see, just for the adventure of it, just to see what it's like, then do so. But just keep this in your mind. Just know I'm going to have flight delays everywhere. Once I get to Belgium, once I get out of Belgium and I get to Africa, I'm going to have flight delays. You're going to have to know that. Once I get to Gambia, the chance of me going through a storm is great. When I get to Belgium, I know I'm going to be treated like I'm not used to being treated in the United States. I'm going to be treated like they treated us in the 1950s in the United States. I got to prepare my mind for that. You got to prepare your mind for that, because that's not something you're used to. And it's going to leave you flabbergasted. You're going to be sitting there with your mouth hanging open lots of times, because you're going to believe, I can't believe that. I can't believe this goes on. But it does. But it does. And to other people, it's normal. It's normal. And the way they handle it is nothing like the way we handle it. Nothing. And this is the reality of what you're going to have to go through to get to the Gambia. And I'm not lying to you. You're going to have a whole attitude. Now, once you get there, being in the Gambia, you're going to have your own issues of your own once you get there. Kiki, I don't know why, but my son James wants to do. Oh, I like him. And y'all, you know what? I think y'all mean to him. I don't like how y'all, Cynthia be talking to him. Y'all make fun of him, and that's not right. But I like him. He's nice. I really like James. Y'all just need to be nicer to James. He's a sweet kid. He really is. Like he kind of like he works slow. Some people just work slow like that. He seemed like he a little slow to catch on. So don't make fun of him like that. I don't like when Cynthia do that. That's her son. Don't make fun of your son. Don't make fun of your kids. Yeah, don't do that. I really like him too. I think he real nice. I think James is a really nice person. So yeah, that's what I'm telling y'all for real. That's what you're going to have to go through. That's what you're going to have to go through to get there. You're going to have to go through all that just to get there. And that's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. It's just really ridiculous. But it's the reality of the situation. And I'm not going to play with you and tell you otherwise. I'm just not. I'm not going to play with you and tell you it's not. Yeah, I'm about to take this sweater off. It's hot in here. I thought it was going to get cold, but it ain't. Okay, let's see. How do we know that it's really Rick and not somebody you have pretending to be Rick? Well, because if it was somebody that was pretending to be Rick, they wouldn't know I was going to go through their YouTube channel. Because everybody has a YouTube channel, right? So this person, if they were pretending to be Rick, they would have no clue that I was going to go through the channel. Okay? So they wouldn't have hid those videos like that. It looked like this is just an old channel. And he's just saying this here. He just said his son James want to date me. So he knows it's him. He know I know it's him. He know I know it's him. He know I know it's him. But that's the reality, y'all, for real, of getting there. Now let's go to the next thing we're going to talk about. Oh, this is a big one. When you get there, you're going to have to deal with the sex tourism. This is the part I don't understand. And Rick, maybe you can help us understand how y'all deal with it. Because I don't know how people there deal with it, y'all. When you go there, you'll see people with kids that ain't their kids. They little kids. You looking for the parent. You don't see the parent. You just see this European person with these little kids, just little kids. about 12, 13. Some of them younger than that. I done seen them with kids young as like 7, 6 or 7. Some of them will have babies, like be holding the baby. And the baby not mixed. So you know it ain't they baby. You know this is somebody, some Gambian's baby. Okay. So you see that. And you as an American who in America, we have strict laws when it comes to children and who can touch our children and who can be around our children and who can have access to our children. You are appalled because you know this is not right. And as an American, you want to stand up and you want to say something, but when you do, you become the problem because everybody's looking at you like you're the issue. Like, why do you have a problem with this? And I kid you not. So the people who are living there, I don't understand how can they live there in that environment that this is what you see. And you're going to see this no matter what. You are going to see this. If you go anytime, you don't even have to go to just Gambia. We went to, I told y'all about the time we were, where was we going? We were going somewhere. I can't even remember. And we had pulled over. And it was this lady, an older white lady, older European lady. She was walking with her Gambian boyfriend. And she looked terrified. She looked terrified. He was clearly in his 20s and she was clearly like 70 something years old. And she had her African dress on and everything. And she clearly looked terrified. You could clearly tell she had no love for African culture or African people. You could tell she was just there for the sex tourism stuff. You could tell that. And I'm asking people, you know, my friends and family, how do you deal with this? How do y'all deal with this? And they just basically feel like, what can they do about it? What can they really do about it? That's the attitude that I get. What can we do about it? We don't like it. We don't want it here. But the people aren't the ones who brought it here. No Gambian is on TV doing that, bringing sex tourism to Gambia. They weren't the ones who brought it there. So how can they stop it? And it's just a part of the reality there. So I don't understand, how do people from here, the United States, with all our strict laws when it comes to children, I don't understand, how do they sit and watch all this go on in Gambia and they say nothing? They say, well, what can they say though? It ain't their country. You know what I mean? Really, what can they say? What can you say? You can just choose not to come. You can choose not to come. You can choose not to go down there. That's what I do. I just choose not to go down there. And if I have to go down there, I'll go down there to certain places and I'll go for a little bit and I'll leave. I won't go down there for long periods of time. I just won't. Kiki, I was speaking about African immigrants. If Trump gets elected, oh, they're out. Oh God. All the immigrants are out. All of them are out. Oh yeah, that's just wow, that's what's going on. Yeah, so let's see. It's just my opinion. They could have sent those grown children back to the States to work and send money back to them. Yet all these grown people having to wade in and out without even a road. I know. I know. That's what's so sad. That is what's so sad. And that's what I said. What I do to me and what I put myself through, that's one thing. But what I do to my children, that's another issue. That's something widely different. Totally different. Totally different. Totally different. Now, after they finished school, and if they didn't want to go to the university and they wanted to come and see what it was like, that's different. Or they could even go to school there. It's not that much to go to the university there, and they have dollars. So they could send them to school there. I'm doing great and feeling great. Yeah, they could have sent them to school there. You know, I don't know. while you go to Africa and you don't develop your children. You take your children there, and that's one thing that the government says is that you got to take the American kids who are there, that they have to go to school. Would never build a large house in Africa due to no real infrastructure, roads, or power. I would have built several small houses, 50 to 1,000 square foot homes for me and my wife. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. He's right. He's right about that. Yeah, because that's how, let me see. You see them build houses. It's just crazy how they build them. It's yeah, they got big houses over there. Really big house. But I haven't seen one. Yeah, they're big as that. They're big as Bag's house too. I'm not stopping, you're not stopping me from going to Africa. My spiritual, yes. Yes, nobody should keep you from going. And you should be spiritually led there, because if I was not spiritually led there, I would not go there. That is one place I would not go without my ancestors guiding me there. Don't skip over the fact that he admitted his wife had killed somebody and got away with it. Did he say that for real? I'm gonna look through the chat again, y'all. That's why she be walking around pimping like that. She walking around pimping. I was wondering why she was walking around big pimping like that. So that's why. She got a body. She got a body. Is that what it is, y'all? Where are they getting their fresh water? I don't even know. What about the waterborne diseases and all that monsoon water? Also, African countries, what rich, wealthy Asian people, etc. tourism. Look, yes, exactly. Exactly. So where are they getting the water from? I hear Cynthia say she's going to get water, because I don't know where they get the water from. I have no idea. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like that big thing, do they fill it up with rainwater when it rains? Do it fill up with rainwater? Some of y'all on here who know, tell me, because I was trying to figure that out when I was there. And my friends and family kept explaining it to me, but it just didn't make logical sense to me. Because the water is up here, it's a tower, and I guess it flows down. I don't know. And when the rain, how does that thing get filled up? I don't know. I don't know. But I know when the electricity go out, I know that stops working after a while. You'll have water for a couple hours, but after that, you're not going to have no water after that, because the water needs the electricity to flow. They said the water needs the electricity to flow. If you need meds, you better take, yes, a month or two supply. You can't get your med, you can't get your meds, etc. in Africa. You will die. Yeah, you will die. And I did stories about these women over there all the time, and we don't know what happened. Just like Miss Danita, she was a diabetic. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know. Did she take her medicine? Did she? She said she was going to get her medicine. She said she was going to take care of herself, but we don't know. We don't know. You can't go over there expecting to get American medication. Do y'all know this is American medication? They don't have our I went over there trying, oh Lord, trying to get something. They didn't have that. I think it was Tylenol. They don't have Tylenol. They have Panadol, but they don't have Tylenol. They have medicine from the UK and other places like that. They don't have American medicine. So what you gonna do? Did you know that? Did the Repats tell you that? No, they didn't tell you that. And they know that. They're well aware of that. Well aware of that. That you do not, vitamins, you're not gonna have access to vitamins like that. Did they tell you that? No. And you need them over there, because you know what? You get dehydrated. You get dehydrated really easy, because when you go outside, you're gonna sweat. You're gonna sweat really, 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 really bad. And you're not gonna have access to food like that, because I'm telling you, there's no food to have because of the roads, the infrastructure. And even if the roads would let you get the food, how are you gonna keep the food? How are they gonna keep the food? With the lights on and off, on and off, on and off. because the demand on the system is so great, because it's so hot. I tell you, if you can't afford to fly first class to African countries, you will suffer in economy. I only fly first class there for that, there for a reason. In fact, yes, he's right. I wish I could afford that. It's so expensive. I can't afford that though. Yeah, yeah, because you can stretch out and you can get blood clots. That's another thing I've really been reading up about. That is being on those long flights like that. That's why it's better to break up the flight. Even though I know going to Belgium is a big deal and it is a hassle to fly to Belgium, it is better health wise. Okay, because the people who watch my channel 35 and up, okay, it will have some 20 something year olds. They watch every now and then. Depends on what I'm talking about. But regularly it's 35 and up. Those people, especially 40 people, you can get blood clots really easy, okay, from sitting on that plane for long periods of time. And you get dehydrated. And when you get dehydrated, your blood will thicken up, okay? Thus, I don't know, well, I'm not saying this is how you get a blood clot, but I'm saying with the dehydration, along with you sitting there and the chances of blood clots increasing, you cannot be on that flight like that. Because if you notice, look how your ankles will swell up. If you have socks on, look how your socks are like choking your ankles. And you got to take the sock. I had to literally pull my sock down like over my heel because remember, I was on that plane for 3 extra hours. 3 extra hours before I got to Belgium. So I was on that plane for 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. 8 hours. You got to think about all this, people. You got to think about all this. When you get off keep getting up, sit on the aisle seat. Okay. I know you want to take pictures because I used to love the window seat and then I could but no, sit on the aisle seat. Then when you sit on the aisle seat, you can get up, you can stand up when you want to, you can walk around when you want to, you can go to the restroom when you want to. Because if you take blood pressure medicine, you're going to start swelling up. Your blood pressure medicine is going to kick in. You're going to go to the restroom every hour. Every hour. You go into that restroom. So you want to be on the aisle seat. Okay? That's really important to remember all of that. But do Repats tell you that? No. They don't tell you that. I would be pissed if I paid $2,000 for a plane ticket and give the yes. Yeah. It was horrible. It was horrible. That was horrible. It's so bad, y'all. I don't even want to fly anymore. I'm just like, flying is the worst now. And they just feel like because of 9/11, they can talk to you any kind of way they want to. And because of COVID, they can really talk to passengers so disrespectful. I mean, I just don't, I cannot believe an industry is allowed to treat paying customers like that. Just so bad. No, then give you a little cup of water, a cup of water, not a bottle like this, not a little, a cup of water, and one meal. Y'all know the meal is not that much. And if you're asleep, like this one, we were on our way finally to Senegal after all these delays. The guy, he had fallen asleep. He was an African guy. She was giving this African guy so much HELL. It was unbelievable the way she was talking to him. So he had fallen asleep. When he had fallen asleep, they finally gave us some food. I was still woke because I can't sleep on the plane. So I'm always up. So it was another African girl sitting right next to him, right? So she asked him, she gave her the food, right? And then she pointed to him and, said if he wanted food. And I'm thinking the African girl is going to wake him up so he could get the food. Do you know the stewardess was going to leave and not give him anything? And the African girl didn't even try to wake him up. I could not believe it. Y'all, I reached through my seat the little crack right there, and I was shaking him. I was shaking him so hard. I was shaking him so hard. The stewardess said, "Do you know him?" I said, "No, I don't know him, but I know he's hungry." And he woke up, and he was startled because I was shaking him hard. And he woke up, and I said, "Are you hungry? Do you want to eat?" And he said, "Yes, yes, thank you." Yeah, because we were hungry people. We hadn't had anything to eat. We was on that plane for I don't know how long with nothing, nothing. And the African girl who was sitting next to the African man, she wouldn't even look out for him. She wouldn't even look out for him. She was gonna let this woman walk past him and give him nothing. And everybody know everybody was hungry. Yeah, it was horrible. I'm not in no hurry to get back on a plane again. I had never been treated like that. It was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Flight food is nasty. Yeah, yeah, you are starving because it's nasty, and some of it you can't even eat it. The bread is so hard, you can't even eat it. The butter is so frozen, you can't even spread it. You can't even spread it. As soon as you say something or get up out your seat, they want to tell you FCC regulation says. But I'm sure FCC regulations says something about you feeding passengers and giving them something to drink. At SBAs, we know the West gets down and dirty. So with Greeks and Africans fighting decolonization, yeah, it is. They told us that in school, that it was going to be big trouble, that eventually they were going to start over again with this, what we're seeing happen in West Africa. All of these, everybody rising up because they're just tired. It's just a part of freedom and it's a part of growth. You don't want the colonizers there anymore. You want to be your own person. You want to elect your own person. You don't want these people who have been there since you've been a country in power. The youth want their turn. They want to rule now, and that's only fair. Malik Shabazz using Gambians as human lawnmowers. I know. They want to be big farmers without any equipment. Exactly. And now they got Americans. Did y'all see that? Now they got the little American boys there. There's some American teenage boys that's there. Y'all know that, right? So now they working for them. Okay. I'm wondering how long they gonna work for them before they quit. Because Cynthia complaining that they taking too many breaks. And I know they're not gonna pay them 49 cents an hour. I know they're not gonna pay them what they pay the Gambians. I wonder how much they paying them. Rick, how much y'all paying them? The American boys who's working for y'all. Hell, I can barely deal with the bad weather here when it rains. I cannot do, the rainy season is crazy. It is crazy. So that's another thing. The sex tourism problem. It's really bad there. So once you get through all of what you're going through to get there, the first thing that's going to smack you, it ain't going to just walk up in your face. It's going to smack you in the face. It's going to smack you in the face, and you're going to be bewildered. You're going to be standing there like a deer in headlights, like, does everybody see this? Am I the only person seeing this? Why am I the only person disturbed by this? In the restaurants, walking on the beach, at the beach restaurants, it's just like it's nothing. But in all fairness to Gambia is cleaning that up. They don't want to be known for that anymore. They do not. That's why I'm telling you, they want a new type of tourist. They want a tourist who's upper middle class. They want a tourist who's coming there for the culture, a cultural exchange. They want a tourist who wants to come there and have a good time, not who come there and participate in sex tourism. Okay? So that's why you see all this expensiveness now, because you can't pay for sex tourism and pay for traveling to the Gambia too. It's too expensive. That's why her friend can't afford. That's why Cynthia and them bestie can't afford the Gambia no more, because she can't pay for sex tourism and the Gambia too. You can't pay for both of them. The sex tourism is sickening. I saw a European man with a Gambian baby, under 1 year old in a bar. And you sit there like, Why do this man got this baby? This is what you sitting there like, why? Why do he got this baby? Where's the mother? Where's the father? Why aren't the police saying, why do you have this baby? Why aren't the Gambian people saying, why don't you have this baby? Nobody says nothing. And if you're there with Gambians and you say something, they're gonna get mad at you. Like our Kathy said, when she said something and she felt like they all got mad at her. But Quasi told me the reason they didn't say it, because what could they say? If they would have all said something, it would have been a big fight, and y'all know how that goes. Y'all know how that goes. So yeah, that's another reason our Kathy couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand looking at that. She couldn't stand looking at that. She couldn't stand dealing with the rain. She could, everything I'm telling you, this is what this lady was dealing with. And she had a breakdown in front of God and everybody on YouTube. And all y'all did was laugh at her and say she was being rude to the Gambians. She was being rude to the Gambians. Oh, thank you. She was being rude to the Gambians. This lady was having a total mental breakdown by the way she was acting, by the way she was behaving. But nobody, none of the repats, nobody went to this woman and said, hey, this ain't like you. Well, I don't know. Crazy might have. I don't know. I don't know. But from what I've been seeing from their videos, other than him, they didn't support this woman. They talked about her. And but she was ready to leave the Gambia. Because see, once you go through what I just went through for 21 days, you're ready to get out of there. You're right. If somebody would have said, Kiki, you gotta walk to the airport, honey, I would have put my backpack on and I would have wheeled my little suitcase and I would have walked to that airport in that heat, in whatever I had to do to get to that airport. I was getting to that airport. I was going home because I had had enough. I had had more than enough. More than enough. Now, to be fair, I was subscribed to Bad. They were pissed off about sex. They were. Yeah, they were. They were at a restaurant at the beach and they could see young kids. Yes, but that's what they told us. Okay? They told us they were mad about that. A lot of the repats told us they were mad about that. But your mouth and what you do is two different things. So if you're mad about that, why do you frequent the place, Black Acres, where we see it at constantly? And I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant. If you want to know, email me, I'll tell you the name of the restaurant. But I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant anymore because I really like the owner of the restaurant. He seems like a really nice dude. And I don't want to, mess up any business that he might have. But why this is allowed to go on at his restaurant is a problem. So what I do, I just don't go. When I get food there, the last time when I went this last time, y'all see where we sat. We were on the beach. We weren't up where, you see where I took that picture, how I was down on the beach? Because going up in there, no. You're going to see what you don't want to see if you go up in that restaurant, okay? Just like my friend, I told him he went to go get me something to eat one night from the restaurant. The man was trying to talk to him. One of the men were trying to talk to him. He said he kept touching his arm saying, do you do sport? So you do sport? He came out and was like, he said, baby, what kind of place is that? What is going on up in there? And I said, why you say that? And then he told me, and I was like, wow. But that's what they do. Now, you think they would so freely go up to an African-American man and do that? No, they wouldn't, but they're in the Gambia. And this is what goes on over there. And if you're at this particular spot, you must be a part of the get down. You must be there for the get down. So that's why I don't go there. I'll go get the food and leave. But they will go there and they will sit there because that's where they did all that to me, was when we were at that restaurant, because that's where they hang out at. So I don't know how they sit there and see that, because once we went back the next day. No, it wasn't what next day. It was a couple of days later, me and Quasi went back. And that's when I was sitting there and I was looking around. And I was looking around and I was seeing older Europeans with kids. Kids. 12, 13. I'm like, my mind is saying, it's probably their grandkids. Let's say grandkids, yeah, let's say grandkids. This is what I'm saying to myself, because I'm trying to justify what I'm seeing, because Black Acres aren't there, so there's no ruckus. It's just us there eating and, enjoying the scenery. So that's when I look on the beach and I see the same little boy who was there the last time I was there walking down the beach. And he's walking with some friends, like he live over there, like this is where he hang out. Then I see him with another adult European, older. And that's when I start putting this together. And I'm like, oh, this is what goes on over here. And I was like, this can't be his grandchild, because this kid is darker than me. Okay, if this was his grandchild, this kid would have some kind of biracial look to them. Nothing. This can't be his grandchild, because he's sitting with his arm around like this is not, like you shouldn't be. So that's when I said, okay, I can't fight these people. So what I can do is not frequent this place. And that's what I do. That's what I do. I just don't frequent the place, because you can't. You just can't. You can't sit there and watch that. I'm done. Yeah. You can't sit there. You can't sit there and watch that. You just can't. It's going to anger you. And then when you go to different places, people will mistake, well, at least for me, they mistake me as a Gambian. They're not sure what I am. And these men will start like making passes at me. And I'm appalled. I'm offended. And I'm looking at them like, are you really making passes at me? Do you really think I'm down here for some sex tourism stuff? You really think I'm on that? You really think I'm on that? And that lets me know that just about everybody who go down there is on that, because I look just like a regular woman. I'm dressed regular. I have on a regular dress. I have my headscarf on. I'm dressed just regular. So that lets me know that this is something that goes on there heavily. And lots of people are doing this. So if you go down there and you're a woman, yeah, you better be ready to be approached by one of them. I'd wear a depend too, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, I would. You just got to be careful when you go down there. You got to be careful when you go down there, because you're going to see it. You are going to see it. Let's see. Kiki is all over YouTube, sure. Yeah, I know. I was showing it to my friends when I was there. Yeah, I showed them the video. We watched the documentary. That's when they were telling me, they were explaining to me how, these women are really supporting these men. And these men are they are allowing this. And that's when that's why I did that live video about how they're messing up, the whole African man. African men are not like that. They don't depend on women. But these women have went there and you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. You can have a woman. You can have a whole nother family. I'm going to take care of the family long as you take care of me. I was watching this one show. I woke up in the middle of the night, and it must have been for God. God meant for me to see this. Sex tourism goes on in Egypt. Also, these Egyptian men, though, they cold and nasty with it. Just cold and nasty with it. They let them know that this is what you're doing. You paying me. They'll have the wife, which is usually a cousin, which is an arranged marriage, like in the Gambia. It's usually one of those type of marriages, who live at the bottom house. The mom will live, then the dad and the brothers and sisters will live in the middle house. And on top will be the European older lady who's paying for everybody else's lifestyle. And I said to myself, how do you get that lonely? How do you get that desperate that you would pay a man that you know got a woman to be with you? I don't get that. I don't get that. So another big issue that they don't tell us about, Rick and Cynthia and all the other repats in the Gambia do not tell us about, is the lack of stability. The lack of stability with the internet. Well, they talk about it. I can't say they don't tell us about it, but they don't tell us how expensive it is. And they don't emphasize how unstable it really is. It is very unstable. Very unstable. So I'm thinking instability is like when I went last time. The light went out. It was no big deal. It was out for maybe an hour, then it'll come back on. This is what I'm thinking, instability, okay? But not during the rainy season. It's a whole different type of instability during the rainy season. This is what we want to know about, not the regular instability that Africa has because it's a developing nation. We don't want to know about that instability. We want to know that the lights are going to be out 10 times a day. We want to know that. During the rainy season, you better expect your lights to be out 10 times a day. And your solar power is probably not going to work very well unless, like you said, like Mr. Jordan said, you got those lithium batteries. But most people in the Gambia don't have those lithium batteries. They use sun power. And the sun is not shining. So your solar is going to be weak. And after a while, it's not going to work. Because there's no sun to charge your solar. So why aren't we told about this? Why aren't we told about this? Why aren't we told that, Kiki, when you come to Gambia, they are now making the guests, Gambians, the accommodation places besides the resorts. If you have your own house, Kiki, you're going to have to pay cash power. You're now going to have to pay cash power, Kiki. I had to pay, let me tell you how much we paid for cash power for 21 days. We paid $200 for cash power for 21 days, people. That is more than what I pay in the United States for 30 days. Yeah. And I have constant power. I have constant power. Constant power. These are the things you need to know. These are things that you need to know because nowhere did I anticipate paying $200. No, in all fairness to the man who owns the house, I take that back. He told me $150. He told me it depends on you. And he said, because it's rainy season, it's going to probably be more. And he said, he did tell me $150. So in all fairness to Mr. Cisse, he said, he did tell me $150, but it was $200. And that was because of me, because of my demand. So I actually probably could have gotten away with less than $200 or probably less than $150. But that's because, people, it was so hot that you sweat all over. And you sweat in places that you're not used to sweating, people. I kid you not. You are sweating. Your body is sweating in places that you don't normally sweat in. So when you go to, and I'm just going to be blunt with you people. When you go to the restroom and you go to pull your underwear up, they're going to stick to you. They're going to stick to you, and you're going to fight with your underwear to get them up because your body is covered with sweat. Yeah. And the more you fight, guess what? The more you sweat. So you're going to be in the bathroom, which is extra hot. You're going to be in there even longer. You're going to be in there even longer because you're sweating and you're fighting with your clothes, trying to pull them up and pull them down. I kid you not. And also, they don't tell you that regardless of how much you pay, you're not going to have a constant supply of electricity. You're not. No matter how much you pay. I told you I paid $200. I paid extra because I wanted extra. Then it didn't matter. You see, it still went out. It still went out regularly. One time it was out, 2 nights in a row. It was out until like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It would just come on, just out of nowhere. It would just come on. And see, when the lights would come on, like everything was on. So the music comes on, the lights come on, and you wake up and your mind is ready to go back to what you were doing when the lights went out. But it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and the day is over. The day is over. And your food. Does anybody tell you that you're going to lose your food? Don't buy. So normally what I do when I go to Africa, I buy a whole bunch of food, stock up the refrigerator, because I like to go to the refrigerator. I want to get what I want and get it out and eat it whenever I want to eat it. Cook it whenever I want to cook it. So I normally just have a refrigerator full of food. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We did that. The day after we got there, guess what? The fish and the chicken spoiled. The food we cooked the night before, I didn't cook that night. I think they cooked, and we had extra. We were going to eat that in the morning. All that went bad because the lights went out. All that went bad, and they were out. They didn't just go out, they were out. They went out and they stayed out. All that food went bad. So you can't even stock up on food. Every day, you got to figure out what you're going to eat, how you're going to cook it, how you're going to get it. You got to prepare. You got to prepare it. How am I going to prepare it? And I got to make sure I just prepare enough, because if I prepare more, it's going to go bad. You can't save it for in the morning like you do here. You can't do that. You might can save it for the middle of the night, but that's it. And you got to stay in a place. I recommend. Now, the house I stayed in was really nice. I'm going to do a video about that. And I do recommend that house. Even with the power outages, I do sincerely recommend that house, because that house was, like I said, it was in a good neighborhood. You got to experience the culture. And it was a lot of Mandinkas who lived in that neighborhood. And one thing I got to notice about the Mandinkas is that they live together. Like they'll get it because it was huge houses over there. Like everybody had a big, huge house. It was in Old Yodom. I think that's how you pronounce it. Old Yodom. Big, huge houses. Big, huge houses everywhere. Y'all saw the houses. I was showing them to y'all. Well, my friends was telling me this is Mandinkas live over here. And Mandinkas live in a house together. All right? Everybody live in this house. They get a house or they build a house big enough where everybody can live there. So y'all, these houses are close together. So when the lights go out, you're going to hear your next door neighbor. You're going to hear, I call them the Mandinka family. You're going to hear the Mandinka family. You're going to hear them so well, you're going to feel like you're over there. The Mandinka family wife, she was like, they were very traditional people. Every morning, when the lights would be out, because normally the AC was on and I couldn't hear. But when the AC is not on, I'm going to hear Miss Mandinka with her mallet. I guess that's what you call it. That thing they bang like this when they're mashing yam, when they're pounding yam. It sounded like she would pound whatever she did. She pounded yam every single day, 2 or 3 times. No, it was early in the morning. I take that back. But it would be for a long periods of time. All right. So this is what you're going to hear. Then you're going to hear the kids. It was so many kids in the Mandinka family. It was so many little kids. I could hear them clearly. The little boy, I don't even know his name. I'm going to call him Mohammed. Mohammed was so bad. Mohammed got in trouble every single day. You know how I know? Because the lights were going. And I would hear Mohammed's mama fussing at him. I don't know what language. She was speaking Mandinka. I don't know Mandinka, but I know when you're getting in trouble. I could tell by the tone. Now, this is what you're going through. This is what you're going through. Now, that part, I didn't mind so much because I got to see this is what Gambian culture, family, community is like. So, but if you're a really private person and you don't want to hear people talking and you don't want to hear people singing, because it was, when I was there, it was the Muslim New Year. So they were over there singing because guess what? The lights went out. So they were over there singing and I could hear them singing. Yeah. So this is the reality of what you're going to deal with. But do people tell you that? Have we been told that one time? No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Because if I would have been told that, I wouldn't have been so surprised when I could hear all of this. I wouldn't have been so surprised when the lights kept going out 10 times and off, sometimes off 12 hours a day, coming on at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't have been so surprised because these aren't the things that I was experiencing in Nigeria. These weren't the things that I was experiencing in Cameroon. These were not the things that I experienced the first 2 times I went to the Gambia because I did not go during the rainy season. I did not go during the height of the rainy season. That's why I said you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing when you're going to Africa or you're going to get messed up. You're going to get messed up. And thank God this was a clean house. This neighborhood was very clean. This house was very clean because guess what? I didn't see not one mosquito when I was there. Not one. I didn't get bit not one time by a mosquito when I was there. I barely saw flies. That's how clean this environment was. The other house I lived in, not so clean. It was a pretty house, but not so clean. You can tell if a house is clean by the way it smells. And then if there's bugs all about. Like the other house I lived in, that was in Bruceby, the year before, they had flies really, 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 really bad. Really bad. This house barely had flies. When we went outside, the flies, yeah, when we were eating fruit, yeah, they would fly up, but it wouldn't be like a swarm of flies everywhere. You know, like flies, like you fighting the flies. I didn't have that issue. This environment was very nice and very, very clean. So that's another reason why I recommend this environment, because I didn't have problems at all. I didn't have any problems with bugs. So you assume every white person walking or playing with a dark kid on the beach or somewhere is being a sex tourist. Not everyone. It just depends on the vibe that I get and the way it looks. So not everyone, no. It just depends. Certain ones, yeah, you could tell. When it's just an innocent play, you can tell the difference. Sex tourism gives off a whole different vibe than just I'm an innocent person playing with little Gambian kids. That's a whole different vibe. So no, I don't assume that. I'm sure nobody assumes that. It's just you can tell sex tourism. You can tell it. You can tell you got to have a freezer. But even if you have a freezer, we had a freezer. Remember? We had a freezer, but the lights went out. And the lights was out so long, it melted all the stuff. Didn't your Gambia tell me what? Didn't he tell me what? Didn't he tell me what? About what? Tell me what you're talking about. Didn't he tell me what? All right. So the fourth thing the Gambians be, I'm not the Gambians, the repats in the Gambians be lying to us about is the poor road conditions. They don't tell us that, okay, the roads is bad. You know, they'll show us a little muddy spot here, a little rain puddle there, but they ain't telling us that these, your street, your neighborhood, your community is probably going to turn into a river. I kid you not, a little lake. Or not, it's bigger than a pond. It's bigger than a pond. It's like a little lake. And the cars will not be able to get through. And the ones that dare, because there's some drivers who were daring enough to drive their car. Daring enough, some drivers. Because people don't even like to drive their cars during this time of year because the rain will destroy your car. All right. Have we ever been told that? Yeah. Have we ever been told that? It's not wise to come during the rainy season because your car will get destroyed. Trying to drive your car through them puddles, those ain't puddles. Those are lakes. Those are just flash flooding. That's what it is. It is flash flooding. You know, here when we have flash flooding, that's what they have. Flash flooding. Every time it rains, it's a flash flood. Yes. So your car could get swept away and get stuck. Your car could get water in the engine. And then you never know when you're going to turn into a crazy zone. You can be right on some good areas, riding down in some good areas. Then all of a sudden, you in a crazy zone. All of a sudden, you in a river, praying that your car don't float away. That's why it took us 9 hours to get to the market. But did they ever tell us that? Did they ever tell us it's going to take you between 9 and 12 hours to get from point A to point B? And even when you get to point A and point B, guess what? The market is not going to have what you want. The market is not going to have what you need because it's the rainy season in the Gambia. And everybody and everyone is having trouble getting from point A to point B. So goods are hard to come by, especially the goods that the Americans need. And let me tell you this. When we went to the market, the video I showed you, the Sarah Kunda market, this is a lady I go to every year. I go there. I go buy things from her. She has really nice things. I used to get all kinds of stuff. This year, she didn't hardly have anything. Nothing. I'm thinking business has been good. That's why. No, people. She can't get the things that she needs because of the roads, because of the rain, because of that tornado they just had on July the 12th. Two of the shops that border her, that are next to her, were destroyed from that storm, that tornado. This is how bad it is in the Gambia. And the repats there want us to think that this is all good, that this is all good, and it's all wonderful. And they know it's a lie. They know this is a straight lie. They know they're telling us straight up lies. That place is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. When you can go to the market and you have money, but what you want is not there, you can't buy it. Like produce. Produce, when I was there, it was July. Mangoes, which were my favorite, were going out of season. We could find some mangoes, but oh my God, they were horrible. They were horrible. I'm expecting this sweet. Mangoes in the Gambia taste like mango candy. That's how sweet and juicy they are. No, they didn't taste like it this time. And I said, what is wrong with them? They said, well, because it's the end of the season. These are the ones that's left over. That's why they taste like that. The watermelon, horrible. The watermelon was just flat out horrible. I couldn't even eat the rest of it. That's how bad it was. It was horrible. It was simply horrible. Couldn't find potatoes. I wanted to make fried potatoes. I made them that one day. It was good. We wanted some more. I was going to do fried potatoes for breakfast because, they eat bread for breakfast. I can't eat bread for breakfast. I can't do that. I can't do that bread. And that bread is really hard. That tapalapa bread they eat, it's extremely hard. And even the sweet bread, you could get something called sweet bread. It's soft, but I can't eat bread every day like that. And it's not toasted. It's just bread. I can't do that. So I wanted to have some fried potatoes and eggs, and I was going to fry the bread, in butter and toast it. Guess what? We couldn't find anywhere potatoes. Something as simple as potatoes, but it wasn't in season. And to get it, we have to go get the frozen ones that were up at turntable. We were in old Yodom, people. That's like what, 20, 30 minutes to turntable? But this is the reality. This is the reality of going to the Gambia during the rainy season. This is the reality. I would not advise you to go during the rainy season. It's going to be extremely hot. We couldn't get vegetables. I was looking for peas and carrots, y'all. I wanted to make peanut butter stew. They call it mumphy uh, in Mali. And damada, I think that's what they call it in Gambia. I wanted to make that. Couldn't find tomatoes. Couldn't find the tomatoes, the tomatoes in the jar. So then, I mean, not the jar, but the canned tomatoes. So I said, okay, I can stew some tomatoes and I can make my own tomatoes. Couldn't find the big ones. All I could find was the little cherry tomatoes. I was like, oh my God, this is really what you have to go through. And then another thing, you got to go to two different places when you're for us. For Gambians, I'm sure they can just go to the market or go wherever. But for us, no. You got to go to the market and then you got to go to the supermarket that has the food that we need. So one person has to go one way, the other person has to go the other way to get what you need. Because you're not going to be able to get what you need in one place. You're not going to be able to do that. And if it's raining too bad, guess what? You got to take off on foot because the roads are too bad and no cars will come and you can't get through in your car because it's too bad. This is the reality, people. So guess what you got to do? Okay, we'll just walk. You go to the supermarket, you go to the market, and of course, what do? I stay in the house because I can't do nothing. I can just sit in the house and clean up the house and wait for people to come back with the stuff because I can't walk nowhere. I can't walk in. And on top of it, it's raining and it's hot and slick and muddy. So you got to be dependent totally on somebody else. And if you're just an American trying to make it in the rainy season there, oh, I feel sorry for you. You're going to get taken advantage of so bad. You're going to get taken advantage of so bad. People are going to charge you up for every single thing. Every single thing. And another thing they failed to tell you is how the rainy season destroys your cars, people. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you how the rainy season destroy your car. They do not tell you that. They don't tell you don't bring your American car over here. How the environment can be noisy. I was used to the environment being noisy, but I was used to it being noisy with music. And I was used to it being noisy with, I could hear people talking, but I couldn't hear what they were doing. Like I couldn't hear people cooking. Like I could hear them cooking. I could hear like everything. I could hear every single thing. So I'm used to the noises in the community, but I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to being able to hear you and your husband have conversations. I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to that. No, I wasn't prepared for that. But like I said, it was just that it was the neighborhood and it was the houses. It was their housing. Their housing was very close together. Lights go out must near there, maybe, etc. Lights go out. Yeah, it was a mosque near there. Yeah, you're right. You could see the mosque from there. This woman must not have a life with those who care about what she has to say. Always late to the party. Oh, you're very patient, Kiki. Oh, mine advised me to go to a hotel with him the very first time visiting there, not to get a culture shock. Electricity went out sometimes, but only for 2 minutes. Yeah, in the hotels I figured that, but he doesn't really do hotels and tourist districts and all of that. Yeah, yeah, he doesn't do that. He doesn't want to be anywhere near that environment. And he felt like when you go to the resorts, because we did I did look into this resort this time, but I just can't. Just for my sake, we did consider the resort, but I just can't do the resort. I want to cook my own food. That was the biggest drawback to the resort. I wanted to cook my own food. I don't want to depend on nobody for that. But that's a good point. She did make a good point. You can do the resort. That's an option. And the resort, you're not going to have that electric problem like I had. At least I pray you don't. But she's right. You're not going to have that electric problem. You're not going to have to look for food like I did. You're not going to have that. You're just going to have to eat what they give you. You know, you're going to have to eat when they give you the food. But she's right. You will have the food more. You won't have to go and look what I did. You want to go through what I did, looking for the food. You know, going through everything to get the food. You know, every day, okay, what are we going to have to eat today? What can we find at the market that we can eat today? So if you stay at the resort, she's right. You're not going to have that problem. Kiki, you have me cracking up because I know exactly what you're saying too. Yes, yes. This is just so you're not going to have that problem. But if you stay on your own, like I do, I don't like people in my business. Yeah, they had a tornado in the Gambia while I was flying around in the airplane on the ground. They had a tornado that was on the ground tearing it up, tearing it up. And when I landed, it was like nothing had ever happened. We got off the plane. It was like nothing had happened. The airport people, they was just normal. I guess they didn't want to upset people. But the bus to come pick you up, it had a it had a whole bunch of water in it. Like somebody had just dumped water on the inside of the bus. And I don't ever remember the bus being like that. And like when the bus was pulling off, it was like a big slush of water. So I was like, Dad, something must have happened. Something must have happened. But I'm still not knowing it's a tornado. I didn't know it was a tornado till I had got with my people. And that's when they told me it was a tornado because the airport people sure wasn't acting like it was no tornado. They was acting normal. And then when we was riding through the city, you could see where billboards had been knocked down, our signs had been lifted up and thrown everywhere. It was just looking crazy. And I was like, oh my God, it was really a tornado. Miss Kiki, I have a homemade dress. I have homemade dress in collard green. Ooh, that sounds really good. Ooh, I sure do. Ooh, you know I want some of that. Oh my God. You just made me hungry, honey. That sounds good. All right. There was even a hotel with the nice apartments with a kitchenette. Yeah, but you know what else I don't like? I don't like people talking to me. Like, yeah, I told you I'm an extreme introvert. I really am. But I've learned to be an extrovert because I've had to be because of my jobs. But in real life, I'm an introvert. I am an introvert. Okay. So when I'm not on YouTube, when I'm not working, I want to be alone with the people I love. I don't like to be around outsiders. I don't like to be around strangers. I don't like any of that because, for one, when I meet people, I want them to feel welcome. So I pour myself out to them. You know, I want them to feel welcome. I don't want them to feel like, oh, I don't want them to walk away and have a bad experience with me. So I make it a point to be nice to people. And when you do that, that takes a lot out of you. So that's why I don't like to meet people like that, because I'm going to do what I can to make you feel welcome and to make you feel like, oh, Kiki is cool. I done spent time with Kiki. You know, I want you to feel like that. So that's why I'm saying when I'm there, I get a house with a big old gate and big old walls like the Americans do. And I go behind that gate and I go behind that walls and I shut the gate and I shut the door and I'm in my house. I can cook. And when I want to go out and meet and mingle with people, I can do that. But throughout the day, I don't see anybody unless I want to. Some days I don't see people at all. Yeah, some days I don't see people at all. So another thing we got to this is number 5. We almost done, y'all. Is don't bring your car to the Gambia during rainy season or not during rainy season. If you got an American car, do not bring your American made car to the Gambia. And they don't tell us this, but look at what Rick and Cynthia are going through. 3 vehicles, and now they don't have one. They still don't have one. But you know why? Because American cars are problematic in the Gambia. They really are. And let me tell you why they're problematic. For one, Gambians are not used to having American cars. American cars are very expensive in the Gambia, and I'm sure it has something to do with the import-export tax. I'm sure the importation of American cars to Gambia is extremely expensive. So that's one reason the price of the cars are expensive. So that's one reason why they tell you don't bring the car, because they're expensive. People don't don't know how to work on American cars over there because they don't have American cars like that. Okay, they are used to German cars. I think they said is it Chinese Honda, whoever makes Honda, Toyota, those kind of cars. They're not used to our cars. Okay, another thing they said, American cars break down a lot. And we know how American cars go. That's what keep the mechanics in business here. That's what keep the shops open. American cars aren't built to last forever. German cars don't break down like that. So they don't want an American car. They prefer the German car. They prefer the Chinese car because those cars are not known for breaking down. American cars break down, they said, all the time. And then once they break down, guess what else? It's hard to get a parts to American cars. These are the problems Rick and Cynthia are going through. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. We know this is the case. We see this is exactly what Rick and Cynthia are going through. They got to wait for people to send them parts from America to get their car fixed. And then the parts in the Gambia, they're not the right parts. So they have to put other parts on their car. Remember they said they put transmission fluid in the brake line or something crazy like that? Because they're not used to our type of cars. Do not, I repeat, do not take your American car to the Gambia. And you know what else they told me? That our cars use too much gas. They said American cars have really big gas tanks. The other cars' gas tanks are not that big. You can use a little gas and you can go far. American cars, they were like, no, American cars are not like that. And another thing, let me go get these comments, and then we're going to go through our last point. And another thing, let me see this one. I had to scan Kiki just for the beginning to check everything first, being there on the ground. But it's okay to tell people what Repats don't tell you. Exactly, because they don't. They don't tell you this stuff. So you don't know it. You know what I mean? We look into them like, oh, they know everything. They're the end all, because you sure can't find it on the internet. But they're not. They're not, because they're not telling us the truth. And why they're not telling us the truth, I just don't get that. That doesn't mean I don't want you to go to Gambia. I think Gambia is a very nice place, other than the sex tourism. If it was not for sex tourism, Gambia would be a great place. It would be a great place. If that sex tourism could go away, if I had a giant eraser and I could just erase that part, it would be a very nice place to go to, even though it's expensive like that. It would be, and let me tell you why. Because it would have nice tourist attractions. Because you could go to Coco Ocean and you could spend $20 at Coco Ocean and you could live and have an experience like you spent 200. You can go to Tamala. I think that's how you say it. You can spend $35 and you can have an experience like you spent $300. This is the reality of there. Gambia has they have nice tourist attractions, but you don't want to go to those places when you're going to see sex tourism. You don't want to see that. You don't want to pay $2,000 for a plane ticket and go and see people exploited. I don't care what color these people are. I don't care. It's just like if you went to the Philippines. I don't want to go to the Philippines, and I would like to go to the Philippines, but I don't want to go to the Philippines and see old American men with little young Filipino girls. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. That bothers me because I know these little kids in the Philippines are poor. They eat food from a garbage can and they call it a delicacy. They eat chicken from a leftover chicken that we throw away. They eat that. They get it and they recook it and they eat that. And we go over there with our dollars and we buy these people. And of course, they're going to get a beautiful, young Filipino girl. Of course, they're going to get a young, beautiful Filipino boy. Of course they are. Because when you're hungry, things aren't the same. You look at things differently when you're hungry. And this is what's going on. People are hungry. What we take advantage, what we take for granted. 24-hour electricity. It doesn't matter the season. We take that for granted. That's not even a necessity in Gambia. That's not even a luxury. That's unheard of. But because we have money compared to their lives, we go and do the evil that we do. Another thing they do not prepare us for, and that is for the sheer amount of rain. Rainy days make you depressed, people. Being in that rain day in, day out, no going anywhere. And when you go somewhere, you got to fight to get there. And when you get there, they're not going to have what you want. All you're going to keep hearing is finished, it's finished, it's finished. Because it's raining for days and there's no lights for days. You get a little bit, an hour or two of electricity. Nobody's telling us this. Nobody. Black Acres is not telling you that Rick and Cynthia are going through hell. I saw them pushing that water, them barrels through that water, and my heart went out to them. I said, God, please don't let there be a snake in that water. Please don't let them be snakes in that water. Don't they realize there could be snakes in that water? And that one, what's his name? The baby boy? He pushing it. Raheem, that's his name. Doug. He pushing it with no shoes on, no boots on, no nothing. No nothing. James got this big old, I don't even know what he had, but he had the heaviest one. And he pushing it through all of this. And they want us to believe that it's all good. And it's not, y'all. It's not all good. It's not all good. Black acres continually put themselves every day in dangerous situations. Dangerous situations. Dangerous situations. They eat whatever they find out there. They eat whatever they find. They don't know what's poisonous and what is not poisonous. They go ask somebody. You can't just go ask somebody, because I guarantee you, there's a berry, there's something out there where two of them look alike. One is poisonous and one is not. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And they just grab anything to eat it. Because you know why? Because Cynthia knows she got to feed her family. Cynthia knows she hungry. That's why she got to get whatever she got to get. Just like that last video when she saw that last okra. And y'all heard her, she walked past it. But y'all heard when she walked past, she plucked it. Because she plucked everything. That's why it's nothing out there to eat. They ate it all. Because they're hungry. They're hungry. They're hungry. And you see how far they got to go to the market? They got to walk through all of that. Walk through all that to get to the gate. Then pray somebody will come pick them up. And sometimes they won't even get picked up. They got to walk all the way out. And they got to walk all the way to the junction. Rick, who are y'all trying to prove a point to? Us? Are y'all trying to prove us wrong? I don't understand. Why would you be putting your whole life at risk like that? And I know you're not happy. I know you're hungry. I just left there. I know how hard it is for you every day, all day. You wake up not knowing what life holds for you. You don't know that in the Gambia during rainy season. You don't know what you're going to have from one day to the next, people, because of the rain. And it ain't no normal rain. It's torrential rains. It's like tropical, it's unbelievable rains. Until you go through that, my videos did that was nothing. That was nothing. Those little rain videos I did, that was nothing. That was nothing. The sounds, that was nothing. The amount of water that come down, that was nothing. That was nothing. But they want us to believe that life is wonderful over there. And that's a lie. That is the biggest lie ever told. The biggest lie ever told. You're not going to have enough food. You're not going to have enough water, because you got to get bottled water. Because remember, the electricity is going to go out and you're not going to have water. You got to locate food every single day. Every day I had to cook. Every day I had to cook. Every day I had to cook. And I didn't know what I was going to cook. Y'all, whatever they brought back, that's what I cooked. That's what I cooked. Whatever they brought back, I had to make it happen. I had to make it happen. And thank God, like I said, my grandmother showed me how to cook. Thank God my grandmother showed me how to make something out of nothing. Just like Cynthia. That's one thing I can say about her, is that she know how to make food. She know how to, even though some of it don't look so good, she do know how to make something out of nothing. Because you got to be able to do that in the Gambia. You got to be able to do that in the Gambia. If not, you ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make, you're going to lose your money fast, because you're going to be spending money out all the time for food. And that food is nasty. That food is nasty. Even though I was going to Cuddy Cuddy, I would go to Cuddy Cuddy. That food was still not good. It was not good. It did not taste like it tastes before. Like the afternoon shift is different from the evening shift. And I wasn't getting there in the afternoon anymore because of the rain. I had to wait till it stopped raining. I wouldn't get there to the evening. and go through everything we had to go through. So sometimes to get the cuddy, it would take forever. So by the time I got there, it would be the evening shift. And the evening shift, people know, the evening shift, I don't advise going to cuddy in the evening. It is not good. It was every time I went in the evening, that food was not, it was no, it was not good. It's like you just get what's left. That's what I'm telling you. Even that. So you got to constantly just be in survival mode. Constantly. You constantly in survival mode because that's what you got to do. You got to survive. And then when the food get back, you got to be ready to cook it. You got to be ready to go because you don't know when the lights is going to go out because the lights are probably going to go out when you're in the middle of cooking. So you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to get a candle if you don't have a backup generator, a backup source of power. And even then, it ain't going to work because there was no sun. There was no sun. So even if we did have a backup source of power, it wasn't going to work unless it might have been a generator. A generator would have worked unless it was broken, but our solar was not going to work. It was not. It was just not going to work because there was no sunshine. None. So you'd have to go, I'd have to go cook real fast before the lights go out. Lights normally went out in the middle of cooking, so I'd have to finish with a candle. Yeah. But thank God, like I said, my grandmother showed me how to survive. So this was nothing for me. I could do it. I could do it. But did I want to have to do that? Did I want to have to do that on my vacation? No, I didn't want to have to do that. That's not what I went to the Gambia for, to survive. I wanted to go to have fun. I wanted to go to relax. I wanted to go to recuperate from that hard year I had in school. But that was not the case. That was not the case. It was rough. It was every day there was rough. Every day. I couldn't sleep good. Their beds are not like our beds. I don't care how much cushion they add. It ain't nothing like the beds we have here. And then the sheets. Bring your own sheets if you like me. I like my bed to be cushy. I like sheets. I sleep with a sheet, an electric blanket, a comforter, and on top of that, I have a knitted blanket. Okay. I like a lot of covers on my bed, and then I have the air conditioner on. I know, don't judge me, but that's just what I do. I know the electric blanket and the air conditioner, but trust me, it is the best. But anyway, so this is what I'm used to sleeping like. And then I have 4 pillows. You know, I have 2 on each side. You can have all that in the Gambia, but it ain't nothing like what we have in the United States. And you're not going to have all those sheets. You're not, unless you bring them yourself. They don't sleep with all them sheets. So remember that. If you need all them sheets to sleep with, like I do, man, it was so hard. I was freezing every night. Well, when the air conditioner was working. But when the lights was out, no, not so much so. But I was used to having those covers on me. So it was hard for me to sleep without those covers on me. It wasn't a minority to me. Sex tourism is a minority. I didn't see it much anymore where I was. Only the beaches in this. That's what, yeah. But you got to go, if you want to go out, you're going to see it. Like, I didn't see it in my net. Sex tourism could never be a minority. What did she say? A minority to me. It could never be that. Okay. Because that's taking advantage of somebody's being. And the fact that I'm in a place where I know people are coming here to do that, that's a problem for me. That's my biggest problem with the Gambia. That's my biggest problem with settling there, because this is something, how am I going to deal with that? But I know that's going to be gone, because what I'm seeing there, the government is getting rid of that. They don't want that type of tourism. So eventually down the road, that will be gone. But until then, no, that is a big deal. It is a big deal because, like I said, when you go to Senegambia, you got to go to Senegambia if you need something, even to go to the bank. I had to go to the bank another thing, don't use Western Union. Don't do that. I had so much trouble there getting access to my money. So I thought it was a good idea to transfer the money to Western Union to myself to go get the money. Don't do that. Don't do that. Western Union claimed they had a power outage. For 2 days, I had no access to my money. Don't use Western Union. Just pay your bank. Pay the ATM and pay the fee. Western Union was cheaper than the fee, but it's just pay the fee. So to go to the ATM, you got to go to Senegambia. So you're going to see sex tourism. You're going to see it. There's no way you're going to get around it. You're going to see it because you've got to deal with it. If you are a foreigner, you got to go to where foreigners go to take care of your business. So you're going to see it. Even the supermarket. If I want to go to the supermarket, foreigners are there. You're going to see sex tourism. So the only way you're not going to see it is if you don't. I didn't really. No, I take that back. I did see it in my neighborhood. I did see it in my neighborhood because I was videoing and I rode past a house and there was a man there, a European man. He had to be like in his late 70s and he was surrounded. The little Mandinka girls, they play this game. And I wanted to play that game so bad. I wanted them to teach me how to play this game. And it's like a four square game. And four of them stand together and they hit their hands and then they jump to the side and it's just like I like to watch them play this game. So I was sitting like watch them play the little four square game. I call it four square, but it ain't four square. It's some kind of game they play. Well, I was filming one day. We was riding around. I saw the little girls. I was like, oh, they playing the game. And sometimes they'll hit their shoes together. They'll use their shoes instead of their hands. And I said, oh, they're playing the game. Let me film them. Guess who was in the midst of the circle of the little Mandinka girls playing the game, y'all? Who y'all think was in the midst of the circle? The European man, 70 years old, sitting there watching the little Mandinka girls play the game. And I'm like, I said, turn to my friend. I said, what is he doing there? Explain to me, because I got a quick attitude. I said, explain to me, what is he doing there? These little girls are sitting there playing a game, enjoying themselves, and you see this grown, overgrown European man sitting there watching them. And they're jumping up and down. So you know some of them have entered puberty. So you know what's going on there, people. You know what happens when little girls enter puberty. And you're sitting there watching this and they're jumping up and down. Because it's a game where you jump. You clap and you jump. Okay? So he's sitting there watching all of this. So I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm like, so this isn't sex tourism? You want to tell me this isn't sex tourism? So he turns to me and says, because I'm angry by this point, and he says, baby, he's married to one of the sisters who live in the house. And I said, oh, one of the little girls. So he's married to one of the little girls. And he was like, no, he's married to the older sister that lives in the house. And I said, oh, okay. So, we rode on some more. So I'm thinking about this 2 or 3 days later, and I asked him, I said, how do you know that man was married to the older sister that live in the house? How do you know that man's married to anybody that live in that house? You don't know that man. How do you know all of that? Do you know what he said? He said, I just told you that because I knew you were upset. And I had to tell you something to calm you down. So how was that ever a minority visionary of love when it is everywhere in that culture? It is everywhere. I was in Old Yodel and I saw it clearly with my own eyes. I was so offended by it that he had to make up a story so I would calm down. But you see a poverty around everywhere in third world countries. Is is that disturbing too? While we are sitting in comfort, they're complaining on a high level. Uh, Poverty in Africa is different than, it depends on which countries you go to. I can see poverty in the United States. I can see poverty in Nigeria. I can see poverty. I've seen it. I've seen it. So does the poverty disturb me? Yes, the poverty disturbs me. Of course it disturbs me. Of course it disturbs me. That's why I go. So I can stimulate the economy. When I buy things, I stimulate the economy. That's why I buy things in the neighborhoods where I go to. That's why the people who provide me with the service, I pay them well. I don't give them extra for free like you do, but I pay them well. So yes, of course, poverty bothers me. That's why I'm in education, because poverty bothers me. United States, I see poverty every day in the United States. It bothers me. That's why I get up and go to work and do what I do. That's why I wake up every day at 5:30 in the morning and say, I'm going to do this, no matter what. God, you put breath in my body. I'm going to teach these kids how to read. I'm going to teach these kids how to write. I'm going to teach these kids how to do math. Because these kids are poor. And if I don't teach them how to read, write, and do arithmetic, they're going to be illiterate. And if they're illiterate, somebody's going to take advantage of them. And they'll probably be a victim of sex tourism, or even worse. They call it human trafficking here. So I don't have to go to Africa to see poverty. I go to work and I see it every day. When I drive down those streets, I don't live in the neighborhood where I work. I drive 20 minutes to get to that neighborhood. I drive to 3 different cities to get to that neighborhood. So I see poverty in America. I'm not like them repats or those people who got to go to another country. No, I fix my home. And I got poor people in my home. So does that disturb me? Yeah. Yeah, it disturbs me a lot. That's why I do what I do. That's why I give my soul to those kids every day, every single day, because I hate poverty. I see what it does to people. I know what it does to people. And if it can break you down in America, what do you think it can do to you in Africa? So no, I don't just sit and complain. I do something about it. After COVID came through my country and tried to destroy my country and destroy the people in my country, I knew I had to do something. I knew I had to do something. And I knew I was really smart. I know I'm really smart. And I know I have a lot of college degrees. And I know I can do a lot. And I said to myself, where can I go? Because we got to come back from this. Because this tried to destroy us as a people. We got to come back from this. And when they were talking about how bad the education system was in the United States after COVID, what COVID did and how there's no teachers, I said, I can be a teacher. I teach part-time here and there. I can teach full-time. I got the degrees. I got the credentials. I can do this. I can give back to my country. I can help fix my country. I'm not that type of Black person. I'm not that type of an American. I was raised by my grandmother who always told me charity begins at home. Fix your home before you call yourself going to fix somebody else's home. So I fix my home every day. Every day. So yeah, I hate poverty. Pretty much I hate it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. That's why I go there every day, to the impoverished neighborhood. That's why I go to the poorest neighborhood in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, where I see homeless people, I see drug addicts. This is what I got to drive through to go to work. And I think to myself, this is what my kids got to walk through to get to school. This is what my kids got to go through to get to school. This is what my kids see coming home from school. And I said, oh, yeah, yeah. You better believe I'm going to get up and get in my car and come here every day. You better believe, long as I got breath in my body, I'm going to come here every day. I'm going to come here every day. I'm going to come here every day because I hate poverty and I hate what it does to people. It's a dream killer. And I hate dream killers. I hate dream killers. I ain't mad. Sweet Juicy Mama's famous. That's all she ever say, but Lord, she know she mad. Because I was mad. I was mad every daggone day. I was mad I was over there. That's why I knew I had to go. Because I'm like, I can't live like this, and I'm not going to pretend like I can. I don't come from a country where I have to live like this. So how am I going to go to Africa and pretend like this is how I live and this is no problem for me? It was big problems for me, people. It was big problems. One of the major reasons for poverty, particularly in Africa, is because of the exploitation. Yes. You would think when you get gold and silver and oil that life is going to be better. No, it's not. Look at the look at the Delta region in Africa. Every single time. Look at the Congo. Every single time they discover gold and silver, look what they do to the country. Look what they do. It doesn't help the people. They've been robbing from Africa for so long. So long. And you think I can go to the Gambia and I can sit there and I can see them now exploiting these people's bodies? And I'm supposed to be cool with that? That don't bother me. I see that as a minimal thing. Could never be minimal. That's a major thing that makes me don't want to go there. Every year I got to battle with myself because I'm like, oh God, I got to go over here and look at this again. I don't know how you do. I don't know how that becomes not. I don't know how that becomes. I'm sorry, y'all. That's just deep. That you could just not see that. Those poor children out of bag. That is what's so disappointing. Taking away their potential, dragging it right down the bag rabbit hole. Yeah. Especially James and the other them all the kids who came out there. They was little kids. They was little kids. James could have went far. He would have went to school. He would have got in the right programs. He needs some kind of help. They do him dirty. Interestingly, they are wealthy. Sometimes very who are wealthy. Interesting, they are wealthy. Sometimes very wealthy. Africans too, presidents included. Apart from, I'm not a colonizer from a colonizer state. We are all benefiting from the system when we go there. We're benefiting from the system when we go there. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. The president, of course, there's the wealthy people there. And of course, the politicians who run in the country are wealthy. But I don't understand what you mean. We're benefiting. I'm paying for this. I'm not getting anything when I get there. They're not saying, oh, you African American, you got what? You got people from Mali. Oh man, this was that region. This was the Senegambia Malayan region at one time. We was all three, Senegal, Gambia. I'm sorry, Senegal, Mali. We was a federation. We was all Gambia was in there. We was a team. You get to hook up, girl. You get to hook up. I don't benefit from that. What am I benefiting from? What am I benefiting from? Only benefit that I'm getting is when I get back to the United States, I get to slam that blue passport on the immigration line, and I get to go to the other line. That's the only benefit that I'm getting, is I get to go where the blue passports go and not where the visitors go. I get quicker service through the immigration line. That's the benefit that I get when I go to Africa. That's it. When I get to Gambia, I get another benefit because I got the blue passport, because there's not many people coming from Europe or the West, so they go to a shorter line. So where's the benefit when I get to Gambia? Where am I benefiting? What am I benefiting from? I'm paying for everything. Everything. So where's the benefit? Please tell me, where's the benefit? I'm not benefiting. I'm paying for everything. Everything I get there, I pay for. I don't get nothing for free. Nothing. Not even the cool air. Nothing. I feel back's children, so much youth and potential being wasted. It's sad. It's really sad. But some individuals do something and give support without putting it on YouTube, because that's all they can do. That's all they can say for now. I don't know, I guess. I don't know. You got to do what you do for you. You got to find, I mean, for one, I don't feel like I'm a savior. I don't have the savior complex. You know, a lot of people have the savior complex. I don't have a savior complex. I have a team player complex. I'm a team player, and I see where the team need help. And I know I can, if I know I can pitch, I'm gonna get in there and pitch. If I know I can hit, I'm gonna get in there and hit. If I know I can play outfield, I'm gonna get in there and play outfield. So I know I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna play where I need to play. I'm gonna play my position. That's what I'm gonna do. Play my position. Because I know I can't do anything by myself. I know I can't save a soul by myself. But I know I could be part of a team that can make a difference. So I'm not really sure. I was just reading yesterday about how the Swiss were helping the Danish combat revolts in the Caribbean. All Europe takes a bite out of Africa, stop deflecting. Yeah, they do. They do. But I don't know. I guess it's, it's just people have different complexes. People have different ways that they think, and if you can get on the airplane and you can clearly see, once you get to Belgium, the relationship between the African and the European. You can clearly see that. It's clearly in your face. It's clearly in your face. And like I said, they treat me like that until they realize, oh, she got an American accent. We can't treat her like that. And then it changes. It visibly changes. And this is reality. This is reality, people. So all of this, there's clearly some issues, mindset issues of how we view each other. And that has not changed. It has not changed. That's why it's still, you're here to exploit and you're here to be exploited. That's why it's still that mentality. Because the mindset is embedded in some cultures. And the mindset has to change. And that's what's not being changed. The only sex term I saw was adults, Kiki. If I like it or not, adults, that's their business. See, that's what I mean. That's their business. That's the attitude they take. That's their business. That's the attitude. That's why it continues, because that's their business. That's why it continues. But it's not their business, because the Minister of Tourism in the Gambia has made it illegal for sex tourism to continue in the Gambia. So it is not their business. They're hurting other people. If it was truly just their business, the government would not be involved. The government would know nothing about it. The government in the Gambia knows nothing about me. They know nothing about Kiki. They know nothing about what she does when she goes there. They know nothing about her whereabouts. They know nothing about me. They're not passing laws about me because I'm not doing anything that's obscene or anything that's going against their cultural rules and norms. But they are. They are. And they clearly know about them. So it's not private, ma'am. I would argue with you it is not private. When the government is passing policy to stop it, it is not public. It is not private. To the contrary, it is a public health issue. That's why the Africans are fighting for independence and getting rid of their puppet. Yes, that's exactly why, because they're tired of it. They're tired of it. They are tired of it. They are tired of this. Places, you can hate me as long as you want. It's your blood pressure going up, not mine. I am, okay. Okay, y'all, that don't have nothing to do with us. And I don't think I hope nobody's blood pressure is going up over this conversation. There ain't nothing to be going up over this conversation. No blood pressure to be going up. Western poverty is nothing. Western poverty is nothing. See, listen to that, y'all. Listen to this ignorance. Now, I've never said any of your statements were ignorant, but this is ignorant. This is complete, utter ignorance. Western poverty is nothing against poverty in the third world countries. So she's saying that Western poverty, our poverty, is nothing like the poverty in the third world countries. So that's why y'all adopt the African kids and leave the little African American kids on the street, huh? That's why y'all feel sorry for the African kids, and the African American kids is just nothing, huh? That's why, because poverty is poverty in America, it's not really poverty. Hunger in America, it's not really hunger. Homelessness in America, it's not really homelessness, it's America. You sound like a fool. You sound like a fool when you made that statement, lady. Only a fool would say something like that. Only a very foolish person. A very foolish person, a very ignorant, foolish person would make that statement. Poverty is poverty. Hunger is hunger. How dare you say that a little kid in the United States who's experiencing poverty, who's growing up with that devil poverty, and you saying, well, because you're in the United States, little kid, your poverty isn't as bad as the little kids in Africa. Because that's that whole mentality y'all like to have about Africans. They needy. They needy. African Americans ain't needy. They don't need us. They won't bow down and worship us. They won't let us do what we want to them. They won't let us take their kids here and there and everywhere. African Americans always demanding rights. So we don't matter. Y'all see that? The poverty in this country don't matter. This lady ain't right. Your soul ain't right. And now you just revealed yourself. Right. You just revealed yourself. You really did. You just revealed yourself for who you really are and how you really think. You want somebody you got to patronize You want somebody to make you feel good about you, because other than them, the Gambians, you don't have no reason to feel good about you. You don't have nothing that makes you, when you look in the mirror every day, there ain't nothing inside of here that make you feel good about you. So you got to go get you a Gambian husband. You got to go to Gambia and go find you a Gambian husband that you can pay to play, girlfriend, that you can pay to play. And now you feel good about yourself because you got somebody you can look down upon, because you can help them, you can pay them, you can feel good about yourself. That's who you really are. And now I know, because they just told me. They just told me, and I just told you who you really are. Like I said, like they said, when you look in the mirror, nothing makes you feel good about you unless you looking down on an African, thinking they need you to make their life complete. They need you to let them eat every day. They need you so they can survive. Wow. Wow. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. You just revealed who you really are, lady. You just revealed who you really are. You with your husband because he make you feel good about yourself. You ain't got nothing else to make you feel good, make you feel needed, make you feel wanted. Nothing. Nothing. That's why you keep talking about him. That's why you keep talking about him and how you give it the Gambians extra money, because that make you feel good. That's your claim to fame. We know who you are. That's one thing about God. He'll make you reveal yourself. He'll make you reveal the fool that you really are. Everybody who's going there because it's so cheap and affordable, it's not cheap and it's not affordable. And you know it ain't. You know it's not cheap. You know it's not affordable. When's the last time you've been there? And how much money did you spend when you went, ma'am? It's benefiting of this poverty. It's promoted enough among the YouTubers how cheap it is and waiting for local prices I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about, okay? I don't even know what you're talking about. After you done told us the devil you really are, the devil you really are, I don't even know what you're talking about, woman. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're going to sit up here and talk about poverty is different in the West. It's different in the West. It ain't really poverty. Hunger ain't really hungry unless you African. You ain't really poor unless you African. Yeah, sure ain't no place to discuss here. Not with the stuff you want. You don't want to discuss. You want to tell us how great you are. You want to tell us how much you help the Africans. You want to come over here and promote your agenda. You ain't here to discuss. Discuss what you do for the Africans. That's what you're here to do. Make you feel good about you. The thing is, whoever says it's cheap in the Gambia, that's a it's a lie, honey. It ain't a myth. It's a daggone lie, I think. And that has already been addressed many times on this channel. That's a lie. That's a straight lie. Honey, that's a straight, she know it ain't cheap. This woman who came on here, she know it. The one who think that because you live in America or you live in the UK and you poor, you ain't really poor unless you African. Your people have been benefiting centuries. Well, yeah, you need to at this point. Yeah, you need to at this point. I don't believe you said that. So you wanted them. You like to look down on people. You like to see people suffering so you can hand them out a couple of dollars so you can feel good about yourself. You like to run across the women with the thing on their head and a whole bunch of kids so you can reach in your little bag and give them some money so you can go home and say, well, I helped the poor people today. That's the type of person you are. That's the type of person you are. Yeah, that's the type of person you are. That's the type of person you are. But you want to pretend like you helping the Gambians. That's what you want to pretend like. Who you helping? Your husband and his people? Who you helping? The people on the street? Who you helping? Who you helping? Because I want to know who you helping. Because all you talk about is your husband and his little garden. Who you helping? And what is sad is it hurts tourism. It does, because people don't want to come to Gambia because of that. And they don't. While you talk about it's just sex tourism is minor. And if they're grown, it doesn't matter. It's two grown people. You see? And what they consider grown, 18. So if the person is 18 and he's 80, it don't matter. They're grown. See what I mean? That's the mentality. But this is the reality. What Miss Jenny is saying, this is the reality. We don't want to come to the Gambia because of this. We don't have no interest in relocating there because of this. I struggle every year that I got to go there and I got to deal with this. I got to look at this nonsense that you don't even see anymore because you used to it. It don't bother you because it's Gambians. It's Africans. It's only Africans. They choose to do that. I know it's promoted as a cheap place. Okay, I think I read this. Who is trying? Okay. Do people? No, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. And that's how people get over there and get stuck and get in them bad situations. I'm talking about Americans. And if it was so cheap, why is sex tourism? No place where sex tourism is cheap, y'all. Because them women are going to pay whatever it takes to get there. That's why the plane tickets are so high. They're going to pay whatever it takes to get there. They're going to pay whatever it costs to stay there. They're going to pay the price because they know they don't have nothing and nobody else in the other country. Don't you have food stamps and Social Security and systems in the U.S.? Now look at this, y'all. Now look at this. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. So what? You think because you get food stamps, you eat every day because you got food stamps? You think that? You think the government of the United States has enough money to give every American who's on food stamps? Because there's a lot of people on poor people in this country. So every poor person you thinks, and some of them are the working poor. The working poor don't even get food stamps. Okay? They don't even get food stamps. Well, let's just talk about the people who get food stamps. Food stamps. So you think because they get food stamps, the government gives them enough that they have food every day? So you think because you get food stamps, you got a magical card or you got a magical button and you have food every day? You think that for real? You think they give them enough food stamps so they can last a whole month? They don't, ma'am. They don't. That's why we have pantries, because the government doesn't give the poor people in our country. And because our country is a developed nation, it's extremely expensive in my country to eat. Extremely expensive. So the government doesn't give these poor people enough money to eat and to feed their families every day. They don't. So these people will run out of money probably the middle of the month, if that. And you got to remember the price of food also. So when they run out of food, they can't go to the government and say, I need more money. Guess where they have to go? They have to go to the pantry and they got to beg for food. And these are women and kids. It ain't grown people who don't have no responsibility. The government don't feed them type of people, ma'am. They only feeding women and kids. Women and kids. And the elderly. So that's what these people are going through. Nobody has enough food stamps. And so you're talking about Social Security. Social Security. That's for, I don't know which one you're talking about, but let's talk about the one, because there's different forms of Social Security. Let's talk about the one for the disabled people, the poor people who didn't have a job, but they got disabled. You think they give them people enough money to live off of? You think that? You think that? So those people maybe get from 700 to maybe $1,500 a month, a month. And the average 2-bedroom apartment in the United States is where I live in Ohio is going for $1,100 a month. And you think these people on Social Security are living? You think that? You don't know anything about what you're talking about. That's how I knew you were ignorant when you made that statement. Only an ignorant person would make that statement. Because anybody who knows anything about poverty knows, for one, you cannot compare suffering. No person would compare suffering. You can't compare suffering. Hunger is hunger, man. Because I get to eat for 15 days and the other 15 days I'm hungry. That means I'm less in poverty than somebody who eat for the whole 30 days. That's how you compare. That's how you look at life. So the people who eat for the first 7 days, first 15 days, they don't matter because they got to eat. But the Africans, they don't get to eat at all. And that's a lie. That's a straight up lie. Because I see them eat. I give people food there. That's a lie. People give you food there. People give food away. People aren't hungry like that. They're giving each other food. They're looking out for each other. When I had leftover food, I would give it to the security guard. So that whole thing about people being hungry, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. The Gambian people look out for each other. They feed each other. They know somebody's hungry. They're going to give you something. So no, I didn't see that with my own eyes. No, it ain't like here. So you shouldn't speak about things you know nothing about. That makes you look ignorant. But you revealed your true colors tonight, though. Thank you for that. Just like Rick told us, admitted he was Malik Shabazz, which I already knew that. You might have a social safety net here in the United States, but as many will tell you, no, it's not enough. No, no. And the working poor, people don't even talk about the working poor. They don't even get food stamps. They don't get nothing. It's people in this country who work every day and still live below the poverty line. And still live below the poverty line. Did you know that? No, because you're ignorant. You're ignorant. You think poverty is only in Africa because you like to see it in Africa, because that's where you can feel important. Gaslighting, lady, I'm not in a relationship with you. I'm not gaslighting you. What are you talking about? To be gaslighting you, I gotta be in some type. I'm not in a relationship with you. I'm giving you my position. You made a statement and I'm responding. I don't have to gaslight you. I'm not your woman. What do you mean gaslight you? Maybe your husband gaslights you, but I don't gaslight anybody. I didn't say poverty in the West. I don't say poverty in the West doesn't matter. You don't know nothing about my life and how I live with my husband. He has his own income. Good. I don't want to know about him. Good. You the one always talking about him. Not one time did I say, tell me about your husband. I wouldn't even know you got a Gambian husband unless you told me, woman. You the one talking about him. I could care less. I could care less. Less. But if you want me to believe that you ain't done nothing for him and you ain't done nothing for them properties, that's a lie, woman. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. You paying to play too. I can tell. You know how I know? Because of your comments. That's how I know. That's how I know. Like you not over there doing it, and you not over here this, and you not over here that, but then you justify it. Well, if they're grown, I don't even see it. I bet you don't, because you doing it too. Kiki, she is talking about African resources that her people have benefited. Yeah. She just She don't realize what she is, and she needs to look in the mirror and ask herself, what makes me feel good about me? That's what you need to do. When we get off of here, I don't even know where you're from, but wherever you're from, you need to, whatever time it is, you need to go look in the mirror and you need to say, what makes me feel good about me? You're getting toxic and gap. Girl, I could care less what you say. I'm not in a relationship with you, so there's no way it could be toxic because nobody's holding you here. I'm not gaslighting you because I'm not in a relationship with you. Okay. I don't know what gaslighting you're talking about. I'm telling you what I'm responding to your comments. You don't like my response, then too bad. Then too bad. I didn't like your comment. I didn't like your comment. I didn't like your comment about poor people. Goodbye. Goodbye. Good riddance. Whatever. Okay? I don't care. And you know I don't care. You know I don't care. That's all you saw because that's all you were about. Exactly. So you need to stop. You just like all them other people over there doing it. Then you want to come and justify. Justify. I don't even see it. Poverty in the United States. What? Because because you see Gambians as needy. You see them as needy. Oh, I gotta help the poor Africans. Oh, I gotta help the poor Gambians. Oh, they won't survive without me. They gotta eat. They won't be able to eat without me. God put me on this earth to save the Africans. That's the vibe you threw off to me tonight. And I don't like that vibe. I don't like that vibe. I don't like people like that. I don't click with people like that. I don't like people like that. That's a colonizer mentality, and I don't like that. That's a savior mentality, and I don't like that. Save yourself. Save yourself from your own ignorance. That think poverty in Africa is poverty because it's in Africa, but because it's in the United States or in the UK, it's nothing. Save your ignorance. I am trying to keep my messages short. She don't she don't know what she's talking about. But she don't know what she's talking about. She doesn't, because she likes to see, these are the type of people that like to see Africa with the flies on their faces, with the 75-year-old, with the 20-year-old, the 16-year-old. They like that because that puts them in a position where Africans need us. They need us. They like to be needed. They want to feel needed by Africans because that gives them their whole sense of identity. Their whole sense of identity. This woman has no sense of identity unless she's talking about what she does for the Africans. And that's all she talks about is what she does for the Gambians when she goes there. And how we should do the same. How we should give them handouts too. And she mad at me because I don't give them handouts. Because the handouts are what make her feel good. It says, I'm not racist. I give the Africans handouts. I got a black husband. I'm not racist. But how you treat black women, woman? How do you treat African Americans? How do you treat black kids in America? How you treat them? How you look at them? How you look at the poor black kids in the UK? How you look at them? How you look at the Haitians? Let's keep it real. How you look at the Haitians, woman? Because we view the Africans as docile. The Africans are docile. The Gambians are docile. We love the docile Africans. We don't want them rowdy, rowdy Caribbeans, and we don't want them bouted African Americans. No. We want them needy, docile West Africans. Wow. Wow. I have my home and property with no husband. So what does that say about you? Weak gold digger couldn't survive without her husband and her YouTube privilege. You are a clown. Wow. That's all we got today, y'all. That's all we got. Tonight was crazy. I knew it was gonna be crazy because I hadn't been here on here in a while, and I knew my haters, y'all, they be waiting for me. They be waiting to come on here and just try to set something off. But look what happened. I don't know why they keep messing with me. Because all my ancestors do is unload on them every time. Every time. They just told poor visionary love, they just revealed all herself. They just told her about herself tonight. Because they got tired of it. They get tired of it. And they get tired of it and they just gonna shut you down. They just gonna shut you down. Just like Rick. They had Rick on here telling the whole truth. He was telling who he was. I told y'all. Places and spaces told us that was Rick a long time ago. But I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. My grandmother used to get on me all the time about that. She used to say, you know what? You got a hard head. She said, a hard head gonna make a soft behind. That's what it's gonna make out of you. Because you don't believe nothing. You don't believe it until you go through it. And when you go through it, then you're going to believe it. She said, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you're going to learn. You are going to learn. Because that woman, Places and Spaces, told me that was Rick. She said it on here. She said, that's Rick. And I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. But then he kept on saying stuff and kept on saying stuff. And then that's when I said, my voice said, that's Rick. And I'm going to prove it to you. And then that's when I found out it was him. And then he came on here tonight and he admitted it was him. See, don't come and play with God's people. Don't come play with me. Don't come try to play with God's people, because you know what God gonna do? He gonna make you reveal yourself to the whole world. And this woman just came on here and just revealed who she really was. Who she really was to the whole world, to the whole YouTube people, and to however many people gonna see this video. Now they know how you really are, lady. Now I know how you really are. And that's sad that people are still like you in 2023. People are still like you. But these are the attitudes. These are the European attitudes that you're going to have to put up with when you're going to Africa. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. She just showed y'all tonight what y'all going to have to put up with. If the elderly income is $15,000 a year, then you're not. No, you're not. Oh my God, and that's nothing. That is nothing, but to her, that's a lot. I'm sure that's a lot to her. That's nothing. But she think, oh, it's in the West. They making $15,000 a year. That's sad. That's why I do these shows. That's why I keep doing YouTube, to dispel this ignorance that's out here about Africa. Africans are not docile. They are not. They just react differently than African Americans. They just react differently than Caribbeans. They just react differently than UK people. But to say they're docile, no. That's a fool's move, lady, to believe that they're docile and that they need you. Look at Niger, or you probably say Niger. Niger. I bet they thought they needed them too. West Africa don't need nobody. Nobody but themselves. Nigeria don't need nobody but Nigeria. They don't need nobody. Cameroon don't need nobody but Cameroon. And they've showed you that time and time again. Do you see them calling for West? Come help us. Come help us. Do you see them doing that? No. All three of them countries I just named, and even Ivory Coast, all of them, Guinea-Bissau, all of them have had uprising Even Gambia. Do you see them calling for help? Do you see them calling for you all, lady? Do you see them saying, Europeans, help us, Europeans, help us, help us, help us? Do you see that? No, no. West Africans don't need nobody. All they need is themselves. Just like African Americans. All we need is ourselves. All right, I'm done. I'm done for tonight. I'm sure I done made a lot of people mad. But I had fun while I was doing it. And I hope you guys had fun too. So look, we're going to come back on here. I got one more video I want to do. I want to do about the house so I can show y'all the house that I stayed in. Then we're going to get back to our mission. And our mission is keeping us safe in Africa. And we're going to talk about this international girl group. Y'all thought I forgot. International girl group. I don't know the name of them for real. I don't care what their name is for real. They want to call me, what they call me? Oh Lord, I can't even remember. They want to call me names. You want to call me names? This little chick with blonde hair from the UK and her little African American lady who looked like something wrong with her. She don't look too healthy. Lady, if I was you, I wouldn't be talking about Kiki Love Nigeria the way you looking. You don't look too healthy. So I would keep my comments, my negative comments about Kiki Loves Nigeria to yourself. They called me a distractor. Is that what it was? A distractor. That I'm distracting people. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look at the video because that's the next thing. Before we move on 100%, we got to talk about these women who over there in the Gambia, when I was in the Gambia, they was all throwing darts because they knew I was in the Gambia trying to relax and be with my people and not act ugly. So they want to throw these darts and call me names because I'm telling the truth about these women dying in the Gambia, being unlived in the Gambia, and they mad. They mad. And this international girl group chick, who ain't even woman enough to say my name, I'm not going to say your name because I don't know your name because you're irrelevant to me. So I'm not going to even look up your name. I used to know. I forgot it. International something. It equates to girl group. So the international girl group, I got something for you. You want to throw darts? You want to throw darts at me? Because I'm telling the truth about women being unalived in Africa, and y'all sitting there not saying nothing, and y'all mad at me because I am saying this, because I am saying something. Correction, I'm saying something and you're saying nothing. And then you want to throw darts at me, but like I said, you such little girls, you won't even say my name, but everybody knows who you're talking about. But I got something for you. The next video, y'all, we're going to talk about them. The international girl group. Yeah, we're going to talk about this little beef they want to pick with me. They want to open their mouths. You should have kept your mouth shut, especially about me. So we got something for the international girl group. But see how they do, y'all? Y'all see they like to come in teams at me because they can't handle me one-on-one. They cannot. They can't even handle me in a team. They Black Acres friends. You know they Black Acres people too. Yeah, they Black Acres people too. But I'm coming for y'all, international girl group. I was in the Gambia when you was talking all that mess. You was talking all that mess about me reporting on these deaths, like I'm getting paid for doing that. Well, you too do pay me a little bit of money, but you act like I'm lying. You act like I'm making this up. Instead of you being in the uproar, you want to sit on YouTube and call me names. But I'm not going to call you names. I'm going to shoot facts, girlfriend. All right, so I'll see y'all next week. Let me look and see. We should be able to do another live. We should be able to keep our lives going every week for a while now. Okay? Because I want to make sure I give the international girl group some attention. Because what you did in the Gambia was not cool. When I was in the Gambia, I couldn't really respond to you when all that trash you was talking. But I'm back now. I'm back now. I'm back now. International girl group, you next. All right, so that's all I got, y'all. I'm off of here. I'll see y'all later. Have a good evening. International girl group. I bet you can't wait for this smoke. It's coming. It is coming. It's coming.